I let Jalen know.
It's about that paying Manning stuff that Tom Brady
No,
did.
but the Eli shit.
What did he say about T-Law?
I said Eli.
Oh, Eli. Oh, yeah,
Oh,
It's
Eli.
yeah.
multiple shit. It's multiple things.
Look. Obviously, the group chat. First of all, let me start this because we're already going live. Welcome back to another episode of Open Field. We have officially beat the stat where most podcasts don't even make it to 10 episodes. We're on episode 11. The main topic of this episode is Eli Manning a Hall of Famer? But our group chat has been really lit this week, especially today with the news of Caitlin Clark not making the Olympic roster. I just want to touch on it a little bit because I know people are very, very passionate about this topic. But I would just say this, and then I'm gonna let Lonnie say. He says he's gonna hibachi me, so go ahead. When I'm looking, I'll say this. When I'm looking at Caitlin Clark not making the Olympic team, if we're talking strictly basketball, I agree with everybody and everything that you guys are saying. But I am not looking at this from a basketball sense. I'm looking at this from a marketing sense. Right now, it's been proven, all right, that Caitlin Clark has had a remarkable effect. And it's not just her. You can call me a coon or whatever you want, J-Rob. But it's not just her. It's obviously Angel Reese. It's Cameron Brink. It's the rest of her class. Okay. But Caitlin Clark is the biggest effect of that because this is not fair. As a marketer, I'm looking for the best ways to grow the women's game. That's what I'm looking for. And this isn't most people in America will not care that billions of other the guy living in Los Angeles, California is not going to care what the guy in freaking Russia is watching the Olympics. I think this was a really big missed opportunity. I think this is a really big missed opportunity to grow the game marketing wise for women's basketball in America. Now, don't get this right, and Lonnie will tell you and whatever. Being a marketer is not fair. It's not. You do not care about right and wrong. You're just trying to grow the game, and I think they really missed out a big effect. Just because billions of people watch the game all around the world does not mean that you can't add more people. No billionaire is going to turn down millions of dollars just because he has $1 billion.
Eli, I can go before you.
So I just think they really missed a big opportunity by having her on the team. Even if she doesn't play, I still think that the attention and money that we'll make from it is worth it. So that's just how I'm not looking at it from a fan perspective or a basketball perspective.
Before everybody goes crazy, I want to say this because this will be the only thing
I want to go first before the real group.
I ain't gonna lie. Let me go first because I got to make this quick. I got something to do.
I know it's gonna be crazy. Hold on. Let me
Okay.
say one thing.
I'm in and out.
I know y'all gonna get crazy. I'm probably gonna agree to a lot of what J-Rob, Lonnie about to say. The only thing I will say in terms of CC right now is it impossible for her to make the team? It's not impossible. I don't think
Somebody could get hurt. She'll probably make the team.
Yeah, if someone gets hurt, or if her play just takes another level leap, like it's not impossible for her to make the team. But I'm so annoyed that this is like a conversation when it comes to CC right now.
Stupid.
And then the other thing I will say,
it's stupid, but the fact
Hold
that we're having a
on.
conversation,
Let him go, Rich Random. You went. Let him go.
The other thing I'm gonna say is that 2028 exists. She will eventually make the Olympics.
She's gonna make 3 more teams. Can I just say this? Because I gotta go. But I just want to mention. I just want to say this because the only argument, Random, you keep bringing up is viewership. Nobody want to watch her be the 14th person on the bench because all it's gonna do is create more Twitter discourse of how she can't get a minute in the Olympics. Look at the roster and tell me one player on the roster that she is better than. This is also hold on. This is also, don't interrupt me. I didn't interrupt you. This is also the same roster in 2020 that brought Skylar Diggins on the team. She played 10 minutes a game. It's Skylar Diggins, one of the best players in the entire planet, one of the best guards on the planet. And you're out here caping for viewership and all of these opportunity for participation realistically, because if she go on this team, she's not going to play. She's not one of the 3 best guards on the team. She's not one of the 4 best guards on the team. So I guess what Random wants to see, and what he's advocating for what the rest of the world wants to see, They want to see the Team USA, and they go participate in the Olympics. And Random wants to see the cameras pan over to watch Caitlin Clark drink water from a Gatorade bottle for 4 straight quarters. Or let's go watch Caitlin Clark bust threes when they're playing Angola and are up by 70 points. Because when she comes in for a 30-point blowout, we want to see her shoot threes then. Because that's what you're saying. Because your only argument is not based off talent. It ain't based off her ability to play the game. Your only argument is based solely on viewership. And my issue with the viewership argument is how can you make an argument based off viewership when she's probably not going to play? In Random, again, I had the luxury of living with an Olympian. Guess who wasn't even in the Olympic pool this year? Caitlin Clark. You know why she wasn't in the Olympic pool? Because she's not one of the best players on the planet in her respective sport. Now, I know you and every other media wants the Great White Hope to be all over the media because she's polarizing and she's brought all this attention to WNBA and basketball. But to make an argument that the front office of Team USA dropped the ball for not bringing her on the team, it honestly shows that, to be honest, Random, you're a part of those groups of new women's fans to this, casual fans to this game that are absolutely out of their mind and are making this thing a hard topic to discuss. Because your argument over viewership is it's so moot, because reality of it, she's not going to play. She's not starting over Diana. She's not starting over any other guards, Kalia Kopp, any other guards on that team. She's not starting over. So if you want everybody in the world to kiss the ring to watch her be the 13th guy on the bench, then by all means. But to sit here and try to act like Team USA tripped out. You know how many buckets Kalia Copper's putting up a night? I know you didn't watch. I know you didn't see her game winner the other night.
Buckets.
When Diana Taurasi calling up the plays for her. I know you didn't see that last night.
That's it.
But
I watched that show. Bucket.
So tell me, is she better than her? Because I think that was the last name on the list. She ain't better than her.
J-Rob.
So tell me whose name she needs. Tell me who on the list whose name she needs to replace.
J-Rob, literally, like I said, as a marketer, not as a fan of the sport. Okay.
What is the point of the Olympics?
J-Rob,
what
I
is
did
your
not
job to do?
Hey, J-Rob,
what's your job to do?
I want the same respect you
marketing.
gave me. J-Rob,
Marketing.
J-Rob,
You're not going to gaslight me. You're not going to gaslight me. You're asking
I'm not
me.
gaslighting you.
You're not going to gaslight me.
I waited
marketing because you're not going to. Because I'm not going to lie. You're not going to sit here and do one of your random.
I'm not doing that. I want to talk.
Take me through the bushes. Take me through the bushes.
Let me talk.
Take me through the bushes.
J-Rob.
Saying Jim Harbaugh's daughter.
J-Rob, I'm asking you. Let me talk. This has nothing to do with Jim Harbaugh.
The goal of the Olympics is to win gold medals.
I'm trying to answer all the questions you asked me, J-Rob. That's what I'm trying to answer.
Okay, so tell me who. So answer my first one. Whose team?
Whose team? Marketer, and you.
Okay, Random. The point about marketing is not a real point because everybody gets that point already, bro. Answer the real questions.
You won't let me answer
because you're not talking about marketing is not changing shit. You telling me a lot of views every Random. You're gonna tell me the obvious. Tell me whose team on the Olympic team she should take for marketing purposes. Who should be replaced on the team for marketing purposes?
And the crazy
nigga,
thing is,
you be so opinionated in the chat about some shit you don't know about. I'm asking you questions to these answers, and you don't want to answer my questions.
You won't let me talk.
All right, so tell me about the marketing, bro. That we all have heard 1,000 times already.
It doesn't matter.
Tell me the same redundant points. Go ahead, nigga. I'm not talking. Go ahead.
Wait, but the thing that doesn't make sense. Like,
go ahead, nigga. Stop making. Go ahead, nigga. Nobody stopping you. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Random. Go ahead.
It's been proven that the Caitlin Clark effect is real. You can call it a moot point all you want, but this in the marketing world, it's not fair. If the world was fair, Asia Wilson would be driving the views, but she's not. Caitlin Clark is. Okay? The WNBA is in this perfect moment to skip steps to grow the game, J-Rob. And guess what? I looked it up, J-Rob. She was invited to go to the camp in Cleveland, but she couldn't because she was in the Final Four.
So she didn't make the draft pool, like I said. She didn't make the Olympic
pool.
She
was invited to the draft in
Cleveland.
But
she didn't go to the pool.
J-Rob, it doesn't matter.
If you don't go to camp, Random, again, you're talking about something you don't know about. If you don't go to the camp, you can't make the pool. If you don't go to camp, you can't make the pool. So my point.
She was in the Final Four, J-Rob. She was in the Final Four.
Now whose fault is that?
Exceptions?
Only a few.
Whose fault is that?
Only a few people are going to leave the Final Four to go to the draft pool.
Can we get back
go
to
the
marketing,
thing.
bro? Let's get back to marketing.
Yes, because that's important, J-Rob. It's important when you're looking at this. I told Lonnie, and I
So
told
how is it good for the viewer? Since you're a marketer, you know everything about marketing. For a spectator who wants to see Caitlin Clark, what is her being the 13th guy on the bench, 13th player on the bench, potentially not playing in Olympic Games? What does that do for the viewer from a marketing standpoint?
J-Rob,
answer the question, marketer.
J-Rob, as a marketer, to get even if 1% of. Are you gonna let me talk, or we can just?
Man, nigga, finish, bro.
J-Rob?
I do shows with you all day,
respect,
Random. I do shows with you every day, nigga. So don't.
I'm not. I'm trying to answer your question. You literally would not
go
let
ahead,
me talk.
bro. Do not patronize me about
I've been waiting to go.
Why are you?
Why you talk to me about interruptions is
ridiculous. Question. You wouldn't
go
let me
ahead,
talk.
nigga.
That's great, bro.
And Random, go ahead. Random, you got
go ahead.
You're in the WNBA streets, all that right now. The biggest effect that Caitlin Clark has had was to get somebody like me, who has never watched a WNBA game, to watch a game. Sure, have I mainly watched Fever games? Absolutely. But now I watch Sparks games. I watch Aces game. The marketer does his job. If Caitlin Clark makes a thing, there's going to be millions of people who going to watch. And if we even get a fraction of those people to stay to watch the rest of it, it was a success. It was a success to have her on there. I understand that she's not going to play. I know that she's not the best. This is not a basketball conversation. But if it is a basketball conversation, J-Rob, Lonnie, Trent, Riddell, I agree with all of you. But she is this cash cow right now, especially now to prove that that women's basketball in America can be viable, because I know it's unfair to say this, but the WNBA has never been profitable, and they have a chance now with this new class that is coming in. Okay? It's been proven that Caitlin Clark effect is real. It's not about fair.
Nobody denying that.
Yeah, it's not about being fair. It's about getting more and more eyes to come to the game. It's about getting me. Hold on, J-Rob. It's about getting me, who is
Lonnie,
here.
Please let
I
me,
have family in
Africa. I'm gonna leave after this. So I have family
in Africa, J-Rob, who has never watched the WNBA at all. I tell them, hey, maybe y'all should watch this. This is girl Caitlin Clark, and once you guys see her, go watch a girl named Asia Wilson, who was literally the greatest player to ever play. Now, I am a perfect example of this. I have people in Africa, in Kenya, who have never watched a basketball game before, watching Aces games because they're mesmerized by Asia Wilson's game. That's Caitlin. That's her biggest effect to this. That's why I think they missed out on a big marketing opportunity. This is not a basketball conversation as y'all want to make it.
Can I go now?
That.
Are you ready now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, again, this is why Random is talking about a topic that he is ignorant about.
I am not ignorant about marketing. I am not ignorant about
women's basketball. Okay,
J-Rob.
So Random, let me be specific. Random is ignorant about the overall foundation and the overall landscape of women's basketball globally. He has no idea. He's completely ignorant about that. Again, him talking about Caitlin Clark and viewership, y'all, that point he's making, he's stating the obvious. Everybody knows.
That's the only point that
he's also saying that because he watches basketball now, he wants to see Caitlin Clark be the 14th person on the Team USA bench to watch her not play. Now, this is the thing that Random is losing me about, because he uses Africa as an example for people who don't watch basketball, right? How many pro leagues are in Africa? Period. None.
It doesn't matter.
None.
It doesn't
Only
matter.
one. There's one league. Let me finish. Let me finish,
sport.
because it ties into my point. You know how big basketball is in Europe?
It's huge.
So you think they needed Caitlin Clark to make global eyes on the game of basketball? No. I worked in Australia for 2 years, buddy, covering the WNBL, the women's game, sold out arenas, sold out games in Australia. Internationally, see, the thing is, you talking from, and it's the issue with the West, because in America, we think about America as the standard for everything. If you look overseas, the women's game, the reason why women in the WNBA go overseas to play basketball in Europe, Turkey, China, Korea, is because they get paid more overseas than they do in America. Why do you think they get paid more overseas? It must be because more people consume women's basketball overseas. So when you have a global competition like the Olympics, which is a global competition, I don't think a global competition that highlights way other sports, other stars, not just Caitlin Clark, everybody around the world gonna watch regardless. I promise you, nobody in Africa care more about seeing Caitlin Clark being the 14th person on the bench than that distance runner that's representing Kenya putting the gold on his back. I promise you, more people in Kenya are going to watch that guy put the Kenyan flag on his chest and
I'm saying at
run
all.
miles.
Y'all are not. You are not listening to my point. You are literally not listening to my point. I do not, as somebody in America,
using marketing. You're trying to market the WNBA globally. You do
grow
not
the game
do
in
that.
America. That's what I'm saying.
The game is already growing in America. That's you're literally watching it right now. The game is literally growing in America as we speak. What are you talking about? You're watching the game grow right in front of your eyes. Her not making the Olympic team, and she's going to make the next one in 2028, the next one in 2032, the next one in 2036. She's going to be on 4 more Olympic teams, and you're talking about this is a squandered opportunity. You don't think the WNBA maximizes opportunity? This stupid ass your marketing argument doesn't make sense because she is already being marketed at the highest level in America.
You can market her even better to try to get.
You don't need to make her a global. What I'm telling you, you're trying to make her a global icon to a European person who watches European basketball because it's a bigger deal. They are not going to be overly lost in Caitlin Clark when they have their own heroes in Europe that they've been cheering on for decades. It is you and the casuals who are finally figuring out that this game is bigger than you think. And having Caitlin Clark be the representation, marketing her as the representation for Team USA when she won't even be in the first or second rotations in the Olympics does not make sense because it's not good marketing, nigga. How are you a good marketer and you're going to market up somebody who can't play? You're a good marketer, but you want to market a player who's not going to play in the Olympics.
This is
how good are marketer are you? Okay, who markets a player that ain't going to play the game? You're a phenomenal marketer, but you would market a player in the Olympics so the camera can pan on this player that's not going to get a fucking minute in the Olympics. But when she shoots when they're up 50 to Angola and she shoots a 3, that's what Random was waiting for.
Come on, wait.
He was waiting for the 3 versus Angola up down.
J-Rob, can I tag in for you?
It's the viewership she's going to bring.
Random.
I'm a chill.
Let me ask you this. When you think, let's say Caitlin Clark makes a team. Let's say hypothetically they make it, and they see Caitlin Clark on a bitch the whole game. Why didn't one just turn off the game? She's not playing. What's the point of marketing somebody if you're not gonna play?
J-Rob or Trent. Sorry.
What?
When it comes to Trent, let me give you an easy marketing.
Shut up.
Okay,
here you go. Here you go, nigga. Want to really talk about it now? Let's really talk about it. We can really do it. You feel me? We can really talk about this conversation. I'm ready to have this conversation. Three-time Olympian.
That's great.
FIBA World Cup gold medal.
I'm ready to have this conversation. You're not intimidating me out of this conversation. You're not intimidating me out of this conversation.
Really do this,
You're not intimidating me out of this
conversation.
I'm
making people a video for sure. Come on.
I'm not. You're not intimidating.
This is crazy.
Look, this is what I'm saying. I'm
this man
from a marketing perspective.
I don't want you to get caught up in a scandal. I don't want you to get caught up in a scandal.
You're J-Rob. That's great that you're wrong. You're not intimidating me out of this.
That will be. It ain't intimidation. It ain't intimidation. I ain't trying to intimidate you. I'm telling that your point is wrong. Your marketing point is wrong.
I disagree with you. And I disagree with you.
Can I finally go now, Random?
Go ahead.
All right. Because to attack a few of your points, so because you're saying like how marketing, because you're basically saying that marketing should take precedent over integrity. That's basically what you're implying. So if that's the case, you know what? Let's just be nasty with it. You know, the NFL should be pushing the Cowboys to win every year since they make the most money. That makes sense to me because that's marketing. You know, LeBron's old. We should get the money now. Let's push him so he gets as many rings as possible because that's marketing.
Let me ask you a question. I'm
not done. Because you said a lot. You said a lot in like the last 19 minutes. So the fact is, like, this is the wrong message and the wrong messenger. Because to J-Rod's point, you couldn't name a person that you want to talk about. You couldn't name a person that you can replace Mo. So that means that one, you're not knowledgeable on the topic. Also, as they said, she's not going to play. But at the same time, the way you've been for weeks about how people are hating on Caitlin Clark, how people have been like trashing her and how she's been unfairly treated. What's going to happen if she gets this preferential treatment that you want and gets a roster spot that she did not earn, that she didn't even try out for? What's going to happen then? That gives people a legitimate reason to hate her. So you're basically making her life worse. That's what you're doing, because you're basically making her illegitimate. So you want to push her and make her illegitimate at the same time. That's what you're doing. You want to make her.
I am capitalizing on this golden opportunity.
You're making Caitlin Clark a
I'm capitalizing on this golden opportunity in front of me.
And then you're
I'm not
going to
wait.
Why people are hating on her.
I'm going to capitalize on this golden opportunity in front of me right now.
You're ruining Caitlin Clark's reputation at the same time. So you're going to ruin her reputation and put money in your pockets. That's what you're going to do.
I don't really.
She didn't do anything to earn it. She didn't do anything to earn it. But you want to push her anyway. Forget about everybody else that was grinding, working hard. But because she's the golden goose in your eyes, push her, make her take their spot away from them, and then a few weeks later,
Random telling us that she's bigger than America, y'all.
Wait, Random.
She's bigger than the program.
I'm not saying that at all.
But here's the thing, though.
She's the biggest star in the WNBA right now. She's the
biggest star in basketball right now. I ain't going. I'm not. Nobody's.
Nobody. And I'm capitalizing on her career, Random. That's what you want to do. That's what you want to do. You want to stay on her career for profit.
Wait, this is the main issue. This is one of the two main issues. Number one, we all know she clear cut ain't deserve it. A lot of people in the chat, like Jalen, and other people that was talking about, they want to say, "Oh, she should have made over Diana Taurasi." Nigga, she's played 11 games. She's played 11 games.
The all-time leader scorer in WNBA history.
And also, too, J-Rock, and even the 11 games Caitlin has played, half of them shits ain't even been good. And also, too, you want to keep talking about this shit being marketable. She's not going to fucking touch the court. What are you going to market about her when she makes the team? What are you going to market about her?
It doesn't make any sense because, like,
it doesn't make any sense. And you want to stay in her career for views on the Olympics.
But what I'm saying is, though, what I'm also trying to say is, you don't think views. This is my last part. I'm done. Random. In marketing, right? You do not think that the Olympics in 2028 in America, in Los Angeles, California, you don't think that's going to be a bigger opportunity to do this whole global thing you want to do with Caitlin Clark?
I'm only talking about right now.
She'll be at her peak right now.
Random. Hold on, you're a marketer, right? You're a marketer, so you should. This shouldn't be rocket science to you. If you work as a sports marketer, right? We signed Trent to a deal, right? You and me on the same team. We signed Trent. Trent is one of our. We have a lot of hope for Trent. What he's gonna be, whatever. Let's just say Trent mess around and he's a top rookie in basketball, whatever, whoopie whoop. He's polarizing as ever, first round pick, whatever. You think that if Trent is going to be on the Olympic team and we're trying to market Trent, that's our goal, because you and I have to make money off Trent. If our goal is to make money and make Trent a bigger star, and our plan is to put him in on an Olympic team and try to market an Olympic team in which he's not going to play a minute, how do we look as marketers trying to market that? When we have this whole WNBA, when we have this whole WNBA throughout the entire summer, we just had the NCAA tournament. We went right into WNBA from college. We're going to take this 2-week break with the Olympics and then have another 2 months. And Random, we're probably going to be an all-star. So marketing-wise, what is this window of the Olympics? What are we really missing?
You have a chance.
We just signed a $20 million deal with Nike also. So what are we missing marketing? Random, we are kicking ass already.
And we can kick more ass, J-Rob.
Wow, she's not going to play.
But
J-Rob,
Random,
you can't. Random, if we're taking highlights of her beating on Angola and Puerto Rico up 40, that's not great marketing, bro.
That's
like,
not
what I'm saying for this competition, we don't have to try to milk that for bread. It's not. The
only reason I'm saying I want
to you go make $100. That's $100 million year for us in 2028. You don't disagree.
J-Rob. The only reason I'm saying I capitalize on it right now, in a perfect world, we'd like to believe that in 2028, Caitlin Clark is the Steph Curry. She's balling the hell out and all that in 2028. But right now, I can't look at 20. I'm looking at this golden opportunity to market, Caitlin Clark and USA or U.S. women's basketball to the planet, so that I could. All I'm trying to do is drive more people to watch the WNBA. That's what I'm
you
trying
want
to
to
do.
cheat. Then you want to cheat, and you want
But
to.
can I also mention
This
this
isn't the
point?
first time that happened. Hold on.
Wait,
So you're saying
Hold on,
cheating's
Gerald,
okay in
Gerald, hold on,
sports.
hold on,
That's
hold
what
on.
you're saying to me right now. You're saying it's okay. You're saying it's okay to ruin the integrity. You're saying it's okay to cheat.
Perfect example. Okay, when the one of the best marketing instances in sports history is the Dream Team. Is it not, J-Rob?
No doubt, no question.
Is it not, J-Rob? Okay,
No question. The NBA loved that. It was great for their global game
question it
expansion.
is. Okay,
I agree.
Now they had a tradition. They had a tradition of having at least one college guy on there, right?
Yep.
Christian Laettner at 90, and this was before even I was born. I'm the oldest guy up here.
They did with
right?
Anthony Davis too.
Yeah, so they did. And Christian Laettner at that point was the most polarizing person in college basketball. Now there were other people they could have picked. They could have picked Alonzo Mourning. They could have picked Shaq, but they chose Christian Laettner. Now, did he win all those awards? Absolutely. But there are still people even today saying that Shaq should have went. Now, I disagree with them because Christian Laettner brings those college eyes, those guys who are talking about this, the people like this is the greatest college player of all time. All these people, like he brings
on a team with Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, and Larry Bird. You think they needed Christian Laettner?
Hold on, J-Rob. Let me finish. Let me finish. J-Rob, let me finish.
Michael Jordan had a viewership by himself.
Please let me finish. This is what I'm trying to say. Christian Laettner made that squad because of his exploits and his polarizing figure. Is that not true? Is that not true?
No,
they hated Christian Laettner.
Yes, and that matters. That matters in marketing.
It's way different.
No. This is what I
You want
mean.
more people to hate Clark? That's what you're saying. You want more people to hit her? You want more people?
Wait,
to hit
how long was the
that's not what I'm
tradition?
saying.
Oh, hold on.
Wait, can I also give you some women's basketball history real quick? Do you know one of the reasons why women's basketball even got crazy in America? You know the reason why we have a WNBA, right? You know why? You know the genesis, one of the biggest influence on the reason why we even have a league.
J-Rob,
you don't remember none of them. I know you don't remember none of them. I know you don't remember none of them. Teresa Weatherspoon.
No. J-Rob, I'll be the first.
When America's women's team was in the Olympics, busting everybody's ass, that was the beginning of the surge that we need a league because these women are the best in the world. They kick everybody's ass. That's what led to that league. Then all of that parlay when Euro expansion, women's game got big. Listen, Random, I'm not saying that your idea of marketing, I don't think you're bugging, but everybody's point is that Caitlin Clark would maximize the marketing as if Caitlin Clark is bigger than the Olympics. And the problem with that ideology is there are a lot of other events that are going to be going on while Caitlin Clark is playing. And I'm not saying people are not going to watch her, but if she's going to be out there and she's going to be player 13 on the bench, it's not really maximizing her marketability. And to be honest, if we're really smart as marketing people, you know what we'd be doing all that 2 weeks that she's going to have a break because of the Olympics? We'd be really making bread because we'd be doing all types of marketing shit in America where she's the biggest star ever. And that'll really make us some bank than trying to market her in the Olympics when Noah Lyles just told the world that super champion of what world? Everybody's going to have their eyes on him. There's soccer. There's going to be all other sports. She's not going to grasp the world's attention, especially if she's not playing. And so that's my issue with the whole idea of marketing, because if she's not playing, how are we maximizing her marketability? We're just going to keep panning the camera to her. And then once we keep doing that, Random, the next conversation, the next thinking piece, the next stories and shit and hypothesis we're going to be hearing on Twitter is Team USA hating on Caitlin Clark because they didn't give her a minute in the Olympics. That's going to be the next story.
It will be.
Because that's going to be the next story because she didn't make the first or second rotation when she's not one of the 10 best players. And then we're going to have a conversation about how they hating on her. Y'all, and I'm not talking, when I say y'all, I'm not speaking for you.
I completely understand.
We already started this idea that black women hate Caitlin Clark and jealous of her. She let all these girls play over her in the Olympics. What is those conversations going to be at that point? They couldn't give her a minute. They hating on her now. She can't get a minute. The coach don't want to see her. Don Staley don't want to see her get in because they used to all of that shit is stupid, bro. And so, Random, when we got 2028, 2032, and a whole 2 weeks this summer where we can bring her anywhere in the world and Nike summits, take her to Iowa for a meeting. We can still make the $10 million that we trying to make through the Olympics, we can guarantee make $20 million over 2 weeks doing other marketing. Trying to market her through the Olympics, she ain't going to play, and she ain't going to be the face of the team. She'll be the biggest name, but she won't be the face of the team.
Hold on, random honest, because you're more than likely you're about to say the same
I'm not going to say the same thing.
Random.
No, hold on, Riddell. Hold on.
This is that participation trophy bullshit.
Hold on.
No. Hold on, Riddell. Hold on. J-Rob.
Same thing. I'm gonna be
J-Rob. I agree with you. I completely agree with you. The only thing I'm going to say is that we're just not going to agree because I think this is a completely missed opportunity. I cannot say how she would be in 2028. I just can't say that. I'm only saying the same shit.
So you think I'm asking this? You think by 2028 that hype going to fall down?
I don't. J-Rob,
do you understand who's going to be on that team in 2028? It's going to be spearheaded by Caitlin Clark, Juju Watkins, Paige Beckers. You'll have Asia Wilson. You'll have Cameron Brink probably on the team by that point. Come on, yo. Like, it'll be.
I'd like to agree with you, but I'm just looking at this opportunity now, and I just don't want to skip it.
So this is what I wanted to say, and then we can move on. So first thing is that I feel like the difference between your Leitner example and the Clark situation is, one, if it's a tradition, people are not going to be as mad. But if you start a tradition purely because of Stacey, people are going to be pissed. Absolutely. So those are not the same situations.
The tradition literally started with Christian Leitner.
You're saying it started with Christian Leitner?
The first year that NBA players were allowed to play was 1992. That was the first year. That's when the tradition started. Was with Christian Leitner.
That didn't apply to the women's team, though. Random. I just want to make sure you know.
Yeah, I mean, if that's the first time they're doing it,
you're talking about the men's basketball team. You're not talking about the women's basketball team.
I'm just similarities between the situations. That's all.
But if they,
you want them to start a tradition for CC, that's what you're saying.
If they establish a tradition,
the men's team did, not the women's team.
Yeah, but
so you want the women's team to start a tradition for CC?
Hold on. Let me wrap up. At the end of the day, the biggest point, and if you are right, then they were wrong with Christian Leitner. If you're right about what you're saying, if they started it because of Leitner, but if you start something because of one person, that person is going to get absolutely hated all across the world. So that's a dumb reason to start anything for one person.
They literally started.
If you establish that precedent before that one person, that's different. But
they literally started with Christian Leitner, Lonnie. That's what they did.
How many Olympic teams had a college kid on
the women's team? We're looking at the two situations at themselves, Lonnie.
So you know,
1991, Lonnie. Lonnie, before 1992, in the Olympics. Lonnie, before 1992, did professional basketball players play in the Olympics for the U.S.? Did they? No, they did not.
Let's move on.
No, they did not.
I think Random is going in.
I want you to know, man. Random, I want you to know most of the what happened. Random, I want you to know though, if you go and just look, because it's just on Basketball Reference of these Team USA teams, bro. Christian Leitner wasn't a tradition; he was an outlier. Anthony Davis was an outlier. If you go back and just go on back and look at these teams, especially the most recent ones, they didn't have college kids on these teams, bro. That NBA players. Like, most of these teams are not made up of what you're trying to say. So it's not like this is a constant occurrence. Like, yes, do they sometimes bring a college kid? Do they sometimes pick a college kid who has a lot of notoriety and he or she gets some attention to join Team USA or go to camp? Yes, it happens. But most final rosters are not always going to bring a college kid, depending on where you go.
I agree.
Ultimately, hold on. Let me finish my point.
You cannot deny that
because you keep on.
You want an outlier. You want special treatment. That's what you want, Random. Like, we can move on to the actual football topic.
Well, I wanted to finish my point.
Go ahead, Riddell.
Yeah, can you finish the point? And I'll say this one last thing. So we can
no problem. I mean, if that's the case and they did do it for Leitner, then it's bad both ways. Like, two wrongs don't make a right. So that's really not a point, to be honest. But ultimately, when it comes to this situation, I think you're kind of being a little bit short-sighted in terms of the marketing situation. Because ultimately, objectively, will there be more views? Sure. But there's more to basketball than just views for a very unique situation, right? Because afterwards, we talked about it consistently that, okay, after that, CC, if she gets a spot she didn't deserve, one, that's ruining the integrity of the sport, like holistically, thinking that we'll just give special privileges to certain people, so that ruins the integrity of the sport. People hate that, of course. 2, she's going to get a lot of disdain from her teammates and from everybody else in the WNBA, thinking she's getting stuff that she doesn't deserve. 3, she's going to get a lot of hate around the world, because even though there's CC supporters, there's a lot of CC haters, and she's going to get more hate. And 4, the outlook of the WNBA will be questioned as a legitimate organization if they favor certain people. So at the end of the day, you're looking at the pros and cons, like you talked about, the marketing about it, the image of the WNBA, everything that comes with this entire situation. The pros do not outweigh the cons in this situation.
I would disagree. The USA men's basketball did it for Christian Laettner, and the game survived.
That was like 40 years ago.
Yeah, it don't matter. You had Dominic Wilkins, Isaiah Thomas, all these people who deserve that spot over Christian Laettner. Yet they.
But who is Christian Laettner now?
Not a guard. He's a forward, not a guard.
But Christian Laettner is irrelevant.
Dominic Wilkins, Lonnie.
Christian Laettner is
a wing, not a forward. There's a difference. He was more shooting guard wing.
He still make it over Christian Laettner, Lonnie.
He was a big.
It doesn't matter. He deserved to make it over Christian Laettner.
It would be different, bro. It would be different, bro. To me personally, I would hear you more on random. This was the All-Star game, and she ain't make it. If this is the All-Star game, people voting for her.
You want to
the All-Star game.
You want to legitimize the league and make her life a living hell.
Let her finish.
I'm saying the USA team, in this standpoint, where literally, you can literally argue she had literally no case to make, because you already agree with me, J. Rob and Lonnie, when it comes to the basketball aspect. None of the players that's on that list, she's not better than.
She's not.
The goal is for the Olympics to win the fucking gold medal. So that's why they will be different. That's why I say if it was the All-Star game, I would hear you out more. I would legit hear you out more. But even then, that's a little bit hard too, because you can still gonna argue, oh, this person could have made it. But again, marketability, shit like that. In this standpoint, because the All-Star game, she will play. She will play. But in this standpoint now, hell no.
I would agree with you, but also the one thing we need to be reminiscent saying is the absolute dominance of the USA women's basketball team, which has not lost a game since losing to the USSR in 1992, before any of us were born. The closest game they've had, even in the last 2 Olympics, was a 9-point win against Nigeria in the group stage, and they've been beating routinely some of the best international women's basketball teams in the world by at least 15 points at least. They damn near beat a team by almost 70.
So you want to put the integrity of the league out for some views. That's what you want to say.
The NBA did it and found a way to
sell the league out for some views.
No. The NBA did it. The NBA did it for one player. Why can I not say that the WNBA should do it for one player? Nothing legitimately changed about the NBA when Christian Laettner was on.
Then then nothing. That doesn't really work with your argument, though. If your whole thing
doesn't work at all.
Christian Laettner.
Why are we okay?
Christian Laettner went to the Olympics and nothing changed. Like, that doesn't really help your argument at the end of the day.
Yeah, no. So you as her fan want to make her life a living hell. You want her to be more hated. Because here's what's good. Because you agree that's going to happen. She's going to be more hated
as her fan.
She's going to be called.
Trying to say that I'm not.
She's going to be called not legitimate. I'm saying that's what's going to happen, though. Random. That's what's going to happen. She's not, because she's going to get, because you want her to get the special treatment to be and get a spot, which means that it's not legitimate, which means she gets more hate, and that just puts a stain on her career. So you want to put a stain on her career for views. There you go.
Was it legitimate for Christian Laettner and AD to make the Olympic team?
AD, yeah.
We can just move on. It's okay.
And Mad Max, you saying that she should make it over Sabrina? You've never watched WNBA to me. If you think that Kaylin should make it over Sabrina,
the last thing I will say,
I don't know what to tell you.
It's completely, and Lonnie, you know this, Riddell, you know this, Trent, you know this. I am completely ignorant when it comes to women's basketball.
Yeah, so I don't know why we would talk about this for 38 minutes if you're ignorant on the situation.
From the take of the amount that I think the WNBA could grow from this thing, hopefully, because even last year's Olympics, USA or women's basketball in the Olympics was down, which to be fair, you could attribute that to COVID, but also people just didn't watch women's basketball.
Everything was down in COVID. Riddell, what's the actual football topic?
You can't blame it all on COVID. You cannot blame it all on COVID. People just didn't want to watch it. People just didn't want to watch women's basketball. Whether or not it was Japan, Britain, US, Angola, people just didn't watch it.
Yeah,
So I don't know what
Mad
to
Max.
tell
They
you.
also went to camp to try out for the team. She didn't even try out for the
She
team.
couldn't go
So
because
again,
she's in the Final Four.
so you want to get so that's even
So
more
she
special
shoulda-
to me. You
so
want
she
to put
shoulda
someone on
left-
that they even
Lonnie,
try
Lonnie,
out.
you're
That,
saying-
okay,
you're-
all right,
no.
we can move on because this is some
Lonnie,
bullshit.
you're saying that she should have left her team in the Final Four to go try out for the
It's
Olympics.
not.
No, but at the same time, if she doesn't try out, so if I don't apply for a job, should I just get a job because I deserve it?
No, but if
So,
they're
so
getting
we
it
can move
for-
on. So we can move on. There you go. So we can move on. You cooked yourself. You cooked yourself.
No,
All
I
right.
did
What's the
not.
actual topic?
No, I did not. Her numbers clearly prove it. Her numbers clearly prove the effect that she's had
In
Clearly.
college.
in the WNBA as well, Lonnie. What are we doing? What are we
Oh,
doing?
so leading the league in turnovers. That's proving it.
The viewership
All
in
right,
the
now,
the
see,
WNBA
now,
has
Lonnie,
never
now
been
you
used as
right
much
now.
as it has.
Lonnie, you cherry picking now. You know what random mean. You cherry picking.
You know exactly what I
I
mean.
know
Lonnie.
exactly what he
No
means, but he's
cap.
talking bullshit. So now I'm just matching the bullshit.
You
Don't
Now I'm
cherry
just
picking.
matching
You
the
know
bullshit.
exactly
This is
what I
bullshit
mean,
right
bro.
now.
You know
This is
exactly what I
bullshit.
mean. You
This
know
is
exactly
bullshit
what I mean.
right
That's
now.
my problem with you because you cherry pick stuff with this when it's been proven that CC has had a marketable effect on how the WNBA is viewed, the commercials it has.
You're
the amount of
saying
people that
mute
watch
shit.
it. What
You're
are we
saying
doing?
mute points right now.
How is it a mute
You're
point?
saying stuff that we all know. But at the same time, you want to
cherry picking.
you want to delegitimize the league. That's what you want to do for
views.
views. You want to delegitimize the league for views.
No, let's go ahead to our first football topic since y'all didn't cover it last time because y'all had to have that Aaron Rodgers versus Matthew Stafford debate, which was fun. The clips I got a lot of clips from that. But let's do this. CJ Stroud, by the way, he has a career in broadcasting when he's done, if he actually wants it. CJ Stroud said he'd rather have Aaron Rodgers, he'd rather have Eli Manning's career over Aaron Rodgers' career. Who wants to cook him first, or do you actually agree with him?
I mean, coming from a person who knows Eli, been a Giants fan, my dad coached for Giants. I mean, it just goes back to what I be talking about when it comes to accolades and just ring culture. Like I'm sorry, there's no way you about to tell me a dude who literally has a Super Bowl ring and is a top five quarterback of all time, no debate either, versus somebody who was mediocre. He has some elite playoff runs and he beat Brady twice, which is huge. But literally for his whole career, it doesn't even match with Aaron Rodgers, and he only has one. He has one more ring than bro. That's just what's wrong with ring culture. Not against CJ Stroud from a football player standpoint. We want to win. We like
want to
winning
win more. Yeah, you do.
We like winning. Winning eases out a lot of things. But at his standpoint, he's high. It's that simple.
Look, if Eli had like 4 championships, I can understand he's him saying
Yeah,
that, you know?
get ass.
4
get
wins.
ass.
Yeah, then I get it. But one more, you got the MVPs, the numbers. We all know Rodgers is better. Give me Rodgers' career over Eli every day of the week. Maybe he just felt like he needs to say that because of the championship.
Hold on, Riddle,
Like
real quick. I do have a question. A would you rather for Eli's career with a few other guys that I want to throw.
Wait, you already asked a question. How are you gonna ask another question?
No. I'm waiting. I'm gonna wait for you guys to finish, and then I got a would you rather for you guys with a few other notable quarterbacks that I'd like to see if you rather take Eli's career over their career. But you guys go ahead. Sorry, I just want to make sure.
Well, the big thing for Eli Manning is like, I mean, I hear y'all. I mean, I don't even necessarily disagree with a lot of the. He had some mid seasons, of course. I think something also to talk about, of course, is the situations. The Giants situation just wasn't great for most of his career. So he was in a situation that it was just a tough thing to deal with. So it's like Eli Manning, whether or not you think he played to his potential or whatever, but ultimately the situation wasn't great and a lot of mediocrity. But at the end of the day, when it comes to playing sports, the goal is to win. The goal is to win. The goal is to become the champion.
Do y'all hear that echo? Sorry, do y'all hear that?
I think that was Jalen.
It's Jalen.
All right, Jalen, I'm gonna mute you until you.
My bad.
You good?
No, you're good. The goal is to win. The goal is to become the champion. The goal is to be the best team in the NFL. And yes, he only has one more Super Bowl, but he has arguably the greatest Super Bowl win for a person in 2007. And then obviously 2011 was also a spectacular Super Bowl run, especially considering he beat Aaron Rodgers to get there. So I hear you. I mean, ultimately, I do think, more greatness from Aaron Rodgers. Sure, Aaron Rodgers is a better quarterback. Agreed. But though, when you are reaching this pinnacle,
You're trolling, bro.
and your name is in the
This is
history books like that, I can see why you would want
Oh man,
This is
Yo, let
disgusting
me ask
work.
you this, bro. Let me
This
ask you
is
this.
from a-
Let me ask you
And
this.
that,
Let me ask you this.
hold up. This is coming from a guy who knows Eli Manning,
Let me
and he
ask you
says
this.
you're
Let
nasty.
me ask you
like
this,
bro, this is dead ass like saying I'd rather
No.
have Robert Horry's career than Michael Jordan.
No, it's not.
Yes,
Stop.
it is.
No,
It's
it's
literally
not,
the same
bro.
thing.
It's
How's it
not
not?
the
Yo, let
same.
me ask you
How's
this.
it
It's
not?
not the same.
Hold on,
Robert Horry.
Hold on, Manny.
Has Robert Horry not have historic shots that everybody knows in NBA history?
Robert Horry is not the main star on the team. Come on.
That's not the point, dog.
Yes, it
Eli
is.
Manning's not the main star
It
on
is
his
the
team
point.
either.
Oh.
Especially Strahan was better.
Was he a bigger star on that team over Michael
Strahan was
Strahan
better.
when they won?
Eli's
Right,
the
right.
main star on the New York
So
Giants.
we
What
saying
are you
Eli
talking
Manning was
Wait, so
better
he
than
was
Michael
the
Strahan.
star over Michael
In
Strahan?
2011, no questions asked. He was the
Yeah, but come on.
Eli
Who
was
was the
the
bigger
face
star
of
in
the Giants.
07,
Eli
Trent?
was the
He
Let's
was
not
the
even cap.
face. Exactly. That's the point.
The first Super Bowl?
Yes.
The first Super Bowl?
He was the
He
since
was the
Eli
face,
Manning
yes.
joined the
Over
Giants.
Strahan?
No, that's not.
Strahan?
No, it's not. It's not who's
Over.
better. Who's the face of the team?
No, I'm
It was
saying
Eli
because
Manning.
Michael Strahan, he had like a big personality. He was very popular. That's why I'm asking.
It was
Like,
Strahan.
Strahan was
Strahan.
him, but Eli just being the quarterback,
It was
being a
100%
Manning,
Eli.
like he was going to be the face.
okay,
In 2011, but this is
Okay,
what I'm
okay.
saying. Bro,
well, 2011, I'd agree with you. I'm talking about the
I'm
first one.
sorry,
I'm like,
Riddell.
That's what I'm
You
talking
try
about.
to-
Is the
you
first
try-
one.
You try to nice and sweeten it up. It sound perfect. It sound good. But nigga, there's no
Yeah,
way
it
in a
sound
possible
good,
way
bro.
you trying to tell me. Yes, he won 2 Super Bowl rings. But literally, Aaron Rodgers' career, I'm gonna do the example like I did with Lonnie on fucking what was it? Wednesday? Aaron Rodgers' career on my tippy toes, nigga. Then Eli Manning's career. It's a fat ass gap.
The gap is real. The gap
The
is
gap
real.
is real. That's
so disrespectful.
Yo,
It's so
Eli
disrespectful.
But y'all
Eli
don't
wish
care
somebody
about
said he
rings.
top
That's the
five
thing.
all
Like
time.
this
It's not
new,
about
you Trent Manning, y'all don't care about
no.
rings.
We're talking about rings in the standpoint, and this is why I say I agree with Jalen. It would be different if Eli had like 4, 5. Like it would be different. We're only talking about one more ring, and then Aaron Rodgers is literally
You rather have
Aaron
Terry Bradshaw
Rodgers is
or
a
Patrick
4 or 5-time MVP. He literally has one of the greatest TD interception ratios that nobody has ever done his whole career. He's a top 5 quarterback of all time. Like, nigga, come on. Like, stop.
No.
I have a question. I have a question.
I
real quick.
agree with you, but the only thing that I pointed out is like in terms of achieving ultimate success, I can see why you would say Eli. In terms of overall success, then yeah, Aaron Rodgers. But if I were to change the question like a little bit and ask
Eli's a
whose
Hall of Famer,
playoff
though.
career?
He's a Hall of Famer.
Oh no, we'll get into that. But whose playoff career would you rather have, Aaron Rodgers or Eli Manning?
Eli Manning.
Now that I'll go Eli Manning.
Eli Manning. That's changing the question. That's changing the question.
But that's changing the whole question.
Hello.
So you're only
Who's
taking the part
playoff
where
career
Eli
better
Manning
than
has
Aaron
the
Rodgers?
It's a slight change.
No,
It's not a
it's
slight
not.
change, Riddell.
No,
You're doing it
it's
to
not,
put it in
Riddell.
Playoff
Eli's favor.
career?
No,
Like you're
it's
changing
not.
to put it to
Riddell,
Eli's
Riddell,
favor. Don't do
stop.
that shit, Riddell.
Yeah,
Don't
Riddell,
do
you
that shit,
basically,
Riddell.
Riddell,
You're
you're
changing it
playoff
to
is like
Eli's
the
favor.
Riddell,
I got him.
That's
Hold
What's
on,
what's
I got him.
Eli's playoff career
Riddell,
besides
you are
those 2 months
changing
ago?
the
Hello.
question.
Hold on. What's
Game
Eli's
difference.
playoff
I'll
career
flip it. I'll flip it.
Game difference.
So playoff. I'll flip it. I'll flip it.
Hold on. This is the problem with
Whose
with
regular
Riddell.
season would you have?
This is my problem with Riddell's question. He went to the one
But
play.
playoffs are more important. Yes or no?
Oh my
Yes
god.
or no? Yes
See-
or no?
see,
Yes
you're
or
gonna
no?
get
Yes
that
or no?
shit.
Yeah.
You're being-
Next time I'm gonna get a goddamn flag
Go
and
on.
put it at this goddamn screen. That's what I'm about to do.
Yo,
Look,
I would never.
the
in
fact
my
that
life pick Eli
the
over
reg-
Aaron
look,
Rodgers
Tom Brady's the
career, bro.
GOAT because of the playoffs.
No. It's also because he
His
was
regular
dominant
season numbers are
every
crazy.
That's
era
not,
of
Like,
his
what
career.
you
that
saying?
has
It
nothing to
wasn't-
do with what I just
if
said.
we're
He's
putting
the
people-
GOAT because of the playoffs.
Riddell, if we're putting
His
people
regular
in
season
just because
numbers
of
crazy
playoff
too.
runs,
I know.
and
He
Nick
got
Foles
He's
is
the
in
GOAT
the
because of the playoffs.
no. If
What
we're
up, man? How you been?
if we're exalting people because of their playoff runs, then Donnie is Nick Foles. Is we're calling Nick Foles all-time great because of his playoff run? Are we calling Joe
Nobody's calling
Flacco an all-time great because of his
We don't
playoff run?
even have to
Did I
use
say
those
you?
examples. How about we just whip out the example of Terry Bradshaw would
That's
be
what
top
I just
10.
said. Terry
Cook.
Bradshaw. That's what I just
Terry
said.
Bradshaw
That's
would be
exactly what
top
I
10.
just said.
But guess what, Riddell? He's not.
John
I
Elway.
didn't say
He's not
Eli was
even
top
close.
10. What?
You're not
What
even top
happened?
30.
What
He's
did I
not
say?
even close.
All I
Wait.
asked is whose playoff career would you rather have?
You see the smile on his face? He's never been sad.
You can't even hide
Hold
the
on,
goal.
Ronell,
You can't
wait,
even
Ronell, I
hide
have
the
a
goal.
question. Wait, Ronell.
I
The
asked
only
one
thing that's
question.
nasty,
Come
what
on.
makes it nasty is like Eli only has one more ring. It's not like he has like 5 rings. It's literally one more ring, like
One.
one extra compared to like Aaron Rodgers 5 MVPs.
One more ring is
all-time
huge.
great players. This,
If
that.
Aaron
Four
Rodgers
MVPs.
Like,
Donnie,
MVPs.
I don't disagree. I just asked the question.
Donnie,
Why-
Who has more playoff wins?
I
Who has
said-
more playoff
I
wins?
asked,
Rodgers or
whose
Manning?
playoff career would
It's
you rather have?
Rodgers.
It's
Aaron.
Rodgers. Who had better numbers in the
You rather
playoffs?
have Rodgers'
or Manning?
playoff career over Eli's?
No, I'm
Jalen,
saying,
hold up,
no,
everybody,
no.
everybody.
Rodgers
I
has
have
more
hell
wins than
no,
Eli in the
hell
playoffs
no,
because he's
hell
I
been
still
in the
haven't
playoffs
gone.
more times.
Lonnie,
Nah, that
Lonnie,
I
go
know.
ahead. Lonnie,
Nah,
go
that I
ahead.
know.
Lonnie,
Nah,
go
I
ahead.
know.
So to answer the original question, the answer is A-Rod. And to Riddell, because what else? I'm gonna also say what Riddell also might say. He might say like, "Oh, what rings way different," because he might bring up how like, "Oh, they beat an unbeaten team, and then they also beat the GOAT twice, so like, those rings held a little bit more value." But like when you think about career, you have to think about everything too. So you have to think about rings, you have to think about money made, accolades, all that, stats. So if in terms of money, A-Rod. If in terms of playoff wins,
Did
A-Rod.
A-Rod make more
He
money
is
than
now.
Eli?
He is now. When
Yeah.
Eli Manning retired, he was.
Because Eli made a lot of money in New York.
No,
He made a lot of money, but A-Rod's made more.
Yeah, hold on. Now he is, Lonnie. When Eli Manning retired, he was the highest paid quarterback of all time.
Yeah, that's what I would expect. Eli,
Well, I'm saying
was
like I'm
playing
talking
in New York.
I'm talking about overall. I'm saying like as a personal perspective, I still A-Rod has more money than Eli now. So money,
Talking about, like,
accolades.
commercials and stuff.
Yes.
So
Yes, I
4
know.
MVPs, Eli's never even considered like top 5. So in any season. So it's like
Eli's not
4
even a top
MVPs,
15,
never even been
bro.
considered
What are
top
you
5.
doing?
Never made an all pro. I think most of his Pro Bowls are injury replacements. So it's like, also led the league in interceptions. If I was being,
At least 3 times. At least 3 times.
If I was being a real Patriots fan and being real nasty right now, I would say, yo, just make Jameis Winston white and put him on those teams, and he's doing the same shit. But anyway, I'm not saying it.
That's cap.
Now y'all
Hey,
No.
Joe Flacco would do the same stuff, but whatever. All right. I'm chilling. But all right, now I'm showing a little bit. I'm showing a little bit trash.
But answer the question. I mean,
No, so the answer is A-Rod because when
Eli Manning is closer to Joe Flacco than he
accolades,
is to Aaron Rodgers. Say that again. Eli Manning is closer to Joe Flacco than he is Aaron Rodgers.
No, that is true. That's true.
Okay,
That's true.
Absolutely is.
Bro, Aaron, bro.
Well, it
Eli
depends
Manning
on
is
like where you
ridiculous.
rank Joe
Top
Flacco
5
versus
all time
like.
in his life, bro.
Yeah.
Joe Flacco's playoff run in 2012 is literally better than Eli's. 11 touchdowns, no picks, threw for over 1,000 yards. It's better than Eli's.
I'm done, bro. Come on.
How is it?
It's better than
Besides rings, A-Rod clears him in every category that we would consider to be great.
I'm not hearing that shit. I'm not hearing that shit.
How? How?
07? I don't know. 07,
Okay, Riddell, that's just my point.
No, I'm not.
Everything that we would categorize to judge it on.
I'm not hearing Joe
Eli only leads
Flacco's.
them
I'm
in
not
rank.
hearing Joe Flacco's run better than 2011.
07. I don't think it's better than 07.
That nigga was on a better team and all types of shit. I'm not hearing that at all.
What about 2011?
No, I'm saying 2011. I'm not hearing Flacco should run a team because the Ravens were better.
2011, he beat Rodgers. Who else?
Niggas made the Super Bowl with a bottom 5 defense.
He beat Rodgers and he beat the 49ers.
We made a Super Bowl with a bottom 5 defense.
They were 9-7 and won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I'm not hearing that Joe Flacco shit.
Eli's him, bro. Eli's him.
But Rodell, though, I do give you credit this. Even though it's clearly, I'm clearly taking Aaron's career, but Eli is. I know Jalen not gonna like it.
I'd rather have Eli
is a Hall of Famer though. Like if you go back.
Wait. Hold on. Whoa. What'd you just say, Manny?
Bro, Eli's playoff career, bro, is different. I love it. It's so fire.
It's real. Donnie, hold up. Donnie, save it for the Eli Manning Hall of Fame conversation. Because it's really not.
That's the best performance ever.
It's really not.
Facts.
And also, Joe Flacco's playoff run, he beat Peyton Manning. He beat Tom Brady.
On the way better team.
It's no question who was on a better team. Like it's not even.
He's on the way better team.
Even the NFL tried to cheat. Even the NFL tried to cheat him in the Super Bowl. He still found a way to win. That's all I'm trying to say.
He's on the way better team. I'm not.
Donnie, you don't think Eli's 2 playoff runs when he won the ring were better than his brother's 2 playoff ones when he won the ring?
It is.
That's what I'm saying. It is.
It's not close.
It is.
That's
what I'm saying, Donnie. I just said
it's not close.
In
06, he literally argued he got carried.
Peyton's
2015.
last.
Allegation.
I don't even count Peyton's last Super Bowl win.
And we're not gonna
He
talk
got
about them
carried.
defense. Oh,
I
that
mean,
was
it's not close. That's not close. Eli clears the
Von Miller dragged him on his back.
Hey, Lonnie, even
that Broncos defense was disgusting.
Peyton deserved to get carried for that last ring. He deserved it. He been carrying the Colts.
He
for a decade.
deserved.
He deserved it.
He couldn't throw. He couldn't throw past 15 yards, Jalen. He couldn't throw past 15
I
yards.
know. I agree. Peyton got carried the last ring, 100%. But he was carrying the Colts for a decade, so it's okay.
What does that
have to do with the Broncos?
The Broncos got
What does that have to do
to
with the Broncos?
I mean, he got
the football god. The football god.
No. Jalen, no, I'm not
casual
letting you
shit,
get away with
Jalen.
this, Jalen.
It's that casual shit.
The man lost by damn near 30 in the Super Bowl and only scored a freaking pity one against the Seahawks. I refuse to let you get away with this, Jalen.
I mean,
with the highest scoring offense of all time.
I mean, look,
with the best
I'm not
offense
gonna
of
lie,
all
that
time.
Seahawks
You only
defense
put up
all-time
8
great.
points
That's
in
an
the
all-time
Super
great
Bowl.
Seahawks defense. Like, it's just what it is.
But that was
It was a bad day to have a bad game.
Broncos
It was a bad day to
That
have
was
a
an
bad game.
all-time great offense. The dude threw 55 touchdowns that year. What are we doing?
Hold on. He struggled. But hey, Brady struggled against the Giants in the Super Bowl too, but he had the greatest offense.
It was a historic loss.
He did struggle.
He
did struggle.
Not like Peyton, though. Not like
Peyton at all.
Yo,
I'm not mad. That Seattle team was phenomenal.
Brady
That
in the
Seattle
Super Bowl
team
looked
super
like
physical.
Osama.
They were great
How
on
did Brady
defense.
beat him the
All the
next
credit
year?
to Seattle.
Brady found a way to
Osama
score
had-
consistently on them.
But
the next year.
Jalen, I hate admitting this fact. That year, Peyton scored like 55 TDs. I was like, yo, this is like the greatest nigga I've ever seen in my life. This is like the most unstoppable shit I've ever seen in my life in football. Like, you couldn't stop them niggas. Demarius Thomas, Eric Decker. Who's their running back? I think they had like 2 good ones.
I thought that was like Monte
It was
Ball.
like Monty Ball and somebody else.
Monte Ball.
Yeah, so they had they were just unstoppable. I think they even added Wes Welker just for a fuck you to Tom Brady. Like,
Julius Thomas, Wes Welker, they're all cooking.
Oh, Julius Thomas.
Julius Thomas is amazing. You know what? You know what the problem was? No, the problem was this is what we gotta realize. Payne that year, even though it was a phenomenal year, like he still regressed as a passer in the sense he didn't have a lot of zip on the ball. A lot of those touchdowns were timing based plays. It was a lot of screen passes to Demarius Thomas and Decker getting a lot of yards. So hold on. So hold up. He was living a lot of it. He was living off his incredible football IQ, and he could still make throws. But then when he saw the Seahawks, they were super physical throughout all the timing, and he couldn't make the throws that needed to happen.
Demarius Thomas just run.
Talk to him, Trent.
It was.
What the fuck are you talking about, bro?
Now, if it was Peyton in 04, would have been different, but it happens. He had a bad. It was a bad
he lost in the playoffs to
Brady.
Brady. What are we talking about?
This is how I know Jalen's just be talking. In 04, he literally fucking choked against the Patriots, literally in the snow.
Trent,
choking against the greatest defensive coach ever.
No. Trent.
Oh, no. So what happened in 2013?
2013.
He choked against the fucking Seahawks.
Yeah, he did. He choked against the all-time great defense. It happens.
So what are you talking about? You talking about he was great?
Come on, bro.
What was Brady's ranked defense?
Jalen are crazy.
04, Payne was making throws he couldn't make it.
Is it really an excuse?
This fact. In 04, he was making throws he could not make.
24-8. Trent. Let's add this context to it. They were beaten so bad they went and cried to the goddamn NFL and they changed the pass interference rules after that. That's how bad they were beat. Only scoring 8. They lost 24-8, Jalen. In the playoffs.
43-8. That's Super Bowl.
No. In the playoffs in 04.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
The one he's saying is the greatest Peyton Manning season. He was cooked in the playoffs. He was cooked. Watch him cooked in the playoffs.
I mean, if Jalen thinks that 04 Peyton is better than 2013 Peyton, like, who cares?
It's not crazy.
Yeah, like
I think that's 100% fact for a lot.
Wait, Random. Can I say something?
Hold on. Go ahead, Dad.
He's not even throwing 500.
Bro.
Payne sat like 3 or 4 fourth quarters that year too. Like they were blowing out.
Let Dev go, Jalen. Let Dev go.
No, my only thing is about when y'all talk about Payne's second Super Bowl ring, it's like we all knew he was like not good the whole year. So I don't know why
he got carried.
That's the only thing I
he got carried in both of them.
Yeah, no, but Manny, my thing is like I feel like because we knew he was bad that year. That was his last year, so I don't really criticize that because like he was washed. Like that was more of a team effort. Like if you want to criticize him for the first Super Bowl, he got carried. Yeah, it was definitely like it's kind of obvious because like throughout the whole thing, I'm not gonna say he got carried because we already knew he was bad. That's my only point I was making because like he wasn't. He was literally not the same player versus like
completely carried, Dev.
No, I know.
Completely carried at one point during that season, Dev.
The truth about
Dev, hold on, Dev. At one point in that season, the Broncos thought that Brock Osweiler, Dev. No. Then you gotta keep it a buck, Dev. He was carried at one point in that season. The Broncos thought that Brock Osweiler gave him a better chance to win than Peyton Manning.
We all agree he got carried. Everyone agrees though. He got carried. Like, no one's
you can't say he wasn't carried.
No,
you can't say he wasn't carried.
No, my only point was saying like if you guys knew he was bad, like you knew that was his last stint. I don't understand the criticism. You understood he's like his arm was trying to he couldn't throw anymore.
Dev, like, he wanted to play the next year and nobody wanted him. He wanted to play the next year and nobody wanted him.
I understand. Yeah, never mind.
If you're bad, you're bad.
Yeah, I know that. I'm just saying like.
That's why you get criticized.
We're going to talk about how Patrick Mahomes needed his defense this Super Bowl. We're going to talk about how Patrick Mahomes needed defense to keep him in the game all game before he finally did something in the fourth quarter.
I'm not jacking that.
All right. So the unfortunate fact about Peyton Manning is that objectively, if you look at the facts, he has never been the main reason why he's won a Super Bowl. He's never been the main reason why he's won a Super Bowl.
He's been a bit of a playoff dropper. He's a bit of a playoff dropper, no doubt.
No, he's never been the number one reason why his team has won a Super Bowl.
It's terrible.
That's a fact.
I mean, even though he's a playoff dropper, you're not naming. What's probably what?
Oh no, he's still top 5. He's still top 5.
I don't know why he's top 5 all time.
It's like 2 QBs better than him.
Based off the facts of his career, he's never been the number one reason why they've won a Super Bowl.
I say if we talking. I ain't gonna say it right now.
Does that really matter though?
We talking about the best. You're not naming a lot of quarterbacks better than bro. I'm not gonna lie.
We agree, but there's a reason why. There's a reason why that, like, especially when you're talking about the top. When you're talking about the top, when you're nitpicking, Peyton Manning's playoff resume is such a huge downer for him. It's such a huge.
He's like A-Rod.
I have a question.
Payne has the greatest regular season resume ever, though.
No, he don't. I don't think he do.
Who has a better regular season resume than Peyton Manning?
I ain't gonna lie, A-Rod shit crazy, bro.
A-Rod close, but Peyton's got the best regular season resume.
I'm not A-Rod or Peyton. Let's take away Mahomes and Brady. Take away Mahomes and Brady playoffs, like because obviously those are the playoff goats right now, Mahomes and Brady. What other quarterback, has crazy like playoffs? Because like they said, A-Rod only got one.
Gonna say Joe
Marino never got 0.
Even gonna say Joe Montana. Not there. Somebody in this panel to say Joe Montana is better than Peyton or A-Rod.
So it's like outside of the top 2, it's like it's kind of like.
But that's what matters though. When you're talking about the top 5, that stuff matters. Just because they're 2, like he's clearly behind 2 people now. Clearly now. And even and one of them is going to be going for at least a decade, Riddell. He's clearly behind now.
Oh yeah, A-Rod's for sure behind Mahomes and Brady. But we knew this.
And Peyton too.
No, we're talking about Peyton. We're talking about Peyton.
Yeah, Peyton's behind 3 people.
Wait, hold on. If Patrick Mahomes never wins
again,
I'm
pushing agendas.
If Mahomes never wins again,
Jalen. I'm not
because he's already a way better player performer than Peyton Manning, so it's over.
Yeah, even if he never wins.
But hold on. What if Mahomes never wins again and has
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Hey, Patrick Mahomes could retire now or 10 years from now. He's still a better playoff performer.
Yeah, I mean, you could argue that Patrick Mahomes' peak is like the best we've ever seen. And this is his first 7. This is his first 7 years?
8 years.
I'm not even gonna lie, bro. Don't let Rodgers win again.
No, it's about to be. It's about to be.
If Rodgers wins,
no, because a lot of people are saying if Rodgers finds.
But if Rodgers wins like Peyton won, getting carried by his defense.
No.
I'm just saying.
That's
a possibility.
That's
a
bugging out.
Let's say
if he's bugging out, then
let's say A-Rod wins this year hypothetically. Let's say A-Rod wins
this conversation. You've already seen that. I've already seen people say that.
I already think he's already overpaid.
And it's not crazy to say he's already not better than Peyton Manning already.
I think he's already better than Peyton Manning.
Yeah, they're close. I have Peyton over A-Rod. I'm not mad at you.
Like I said, when it comes to all time,
I'm pushing.
Like I said, when it comes to all time, Brady is 1. When it comes to the best, he's not 1.
But here's the real thing about A-Rod and Manning.
Wait, Trent, you don't have Brady as the best? You have Brady as the greatest, but not the best?
No, nobody's ever had Brady as the. I don't think.
I don't have him as the best. But I'm saying, Trent, where do you have him?
Like 5.
4.
Okay.
Who else do you have?
That?
Peyton, A-Rod, Mahomes. All three are better.
Yeah,
I'm not mad at that here. You okay?
I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that.
There's a difference between A-Rod. I don't think A-Rod has ever like when A-Rod plays bad, it'd be like more mid.
A-Rod's only had one top 10 defense.
Yeah,
in his
when
career.
Payne plays bad in the playoffs, it'd be bad. Like that's the difference. When Payne plays bad, be bad. Versus A-Rod be like more mid. Like when he lost to the 49ers, I don't think he was.
Oh, he played bad. No, you're bugging.
I think he was super mid that game.
No,
like
he played bad.
I'm talking about the first one.
Rodgers has had bad playoff games. Dude.
But I'm saying compared to Payton. I think compared to Payton, it's like to the level degree.
Every all-time great quarterback has had a moment in the playoffs for at least an entire game where they looked bad.
Oh yeah.
This is true.
All right, hold up, guys. Let's move on to the next topic. I got a few would you rather's between Eli and other notable quarterbacks, and the first one should be a doozy. Would you rather have Eli Manning's career or Dan Marino's career?
Eli. You ask me, I'm picking Eli. You ask me, I'm picking Eli.
Dan Marino is so disrespected, though.
Hold on. Trent.
How good he threw the football.
Trent.
Eli. I'm taking Eli.
Give me Dan Marino, man.
Hold up, Jalen.
No, it's Eli, bro.
Come
on, bro. I'm jacking it, bro.
It might be Eli. I ain't gonna lie.
It is Eli.
I'm not gonna lie. Besides like Dan Marino's peak years, the rest of his football career is straight mid. It's straight.
But
mid.
like, what awards he got?
I did see that.
How many MVPs he got?
He got one because he had of course 5K in the 80s.
All right, the next one.
Bugging off that.
Eli, I guess.
The next one is: would you rather have Eli Manning's career or Big Ben's career?
Eli, come on, we're locked in.
Big Ben.
Yeah.
Big Ben. I'm not thinking.
Big Ben.
Big Ben's in the better situation, but
I'm not.
But I'd rather have Eli or Big Ben's career.
Twice. I'm not thinking twice. Big Ben.
All right.
Yeah, give me Ben.
The only reason why I'm leaning towards Big Ben because I've been saying this for years. If you flop the two, Big Ben will literally be Eli Manning's career. So
I don't think he wins any.
Well, honestly, I think Eli Manning might have won with Antonio
Brown.
Brown.
You said Eli way too quickly.
Wait,
no, I think it's an argument between the two. Like I said, if you pick Big
though.
Ben, I'm not mad at it. Like his situation was 100% better than Eli's.
What did you say, Riddell? If you flip them, like if Big Ben was on the Giants,
I said if you flip Big Ben and Eli's like teams, Big Ben would be Eli Manning. You have the 500 record.
So without the Super Bowls,
I'm taking Eli, man. I'm taking Eli.
I don't think he's winning 2 Super Bowls either.
I don't care, bro. I'm taking Eli.
He probably wins one.
No,
I don't think he wins a single Super Bowl.
I don't think he wins a single one. No, I don't.
I'm taking Eli.
No, I'll say this: Big Ben had the unfortunate circumstance of playing in maybe the greatest quarterback conference of all time, with Peyton and Tom just running that thing for damn near 20 years.
He won twice, and my dog beat Tom twice.
He found a way. Ironically, he found a way to beat Peyton, but he in both of Big Ben's Super Bowl runs, he never had to face the Patriots.
Saw him twice, took him out twice.
He never beat Tom Brady in the playoffs. Never did. In fact, he was blown out multiple times in the playoffs by Tom Brady.
Patriots.
Wait, but did Big Ben underachieve? Like, I feel like he should have won more with Le'Veon and Antonio Brown.
No, they should have at least made one.
Man, he had Brady to go, bro. Like,
I don't think you can't underachieve when you want to. You can't underachieve when you want to.
That's true.
That's a valid point. I agree.
Man, he stole one from Larry Fitz. Larry Fitz should have had a ring. He stole it from him.
Trent. If Larry
shout out James Harrison.
Hold on. If Larry Fitz slides at like the 10, does Big Ben win that Super Bowl?
No. Well, actually, no. He does because he can still do the job. So I mean, really seen it.
All right, here's the next one. Bro. Here's the next one.
If you put Eli on the Steelers, bro, with that team, he'd probably get like 3.
No, I don't.
I agree.
That Steelers teams were nice.
I agree. Big Ben was catered. He got they blessed him with weapons all the time. Got a free agency all the time. Eli, there was really a stretch for like 5 years. We didn't ask the GM, draft a receiver. Niggas kept taking D linemen. Did not help Eli at all. And then all the good receivers we got injured within 1 or 2 years.
Facts, 100%.
All right.
Or shot themselves.
Here's the next one. Would you rather have Eli's career or John Elway's career?
John Elway.
Oh, damn.
Bro,
John Elway.
I ain't gonna hold
John
you.
Elway,
I ain't gonna hold you. I'm taking Eli because we don't want to have. We'll say niggas don't want to have that John Elway conversation.
No, but I know you're a John Elway. I know you're a John Elway detractor.
John Elway was better. Like his years, like
he was carrying some bum teams to the playoffs.
So I'm taking
Did
Eli.
John Elway make like 5 Super Bowls?
Taking Eli, bro.
5 Super Bowls?
You said what?
5 Super Bowls?
In 89.
Yeah, 5 Super Bowls.
He's been to 5. He's been to 5.
One team.
He's been to 5. He choked 3 of them. And just what's his name? And
you think he choked against the 89 49ers?
Yeah, that's you lose to one of the greatest teams of all
like
time.
hot dog shit. Ain't that the game?
The 89 49ers one of the greatest
game he
teams
passed
ever.
for 38%. It wasn't his completion percentage 35% in that game or some shit like that.
35%.
The 89 49ers one of the
I
greatest teams
don't
ever
care.
assembled.
I don't care what team you play. I don't care.
If you have a chance to win and you don't win, then
I don't care.
No,
we're not.
If
If a top quarterback in this, if a
though.
top quarterback in today's age playing a Super Bowl versus a top defense and went 35% completion,
I ain't gonna lie. Brock Purdy would have went 35% versus the Chiefs defense.
Trent, I will say this. I think they could have won the one against Washington in '87 where Doug Williams won. I think they could have won that one. But '89, that's one of the greatest teams ever assembled. I don't know.
Yeah, I lose.
89 was against the Bengals.
Playing bad,
but Eli, man. Who the next
was it
person,
90?
Man? Eli Manning.
He played the 89 49ers. They blew out the
Bengals. 89 49ers beat the Bengals.
So who did was it? No. Did they play them in 88?
The Giants game, he played.
It was 90. It was the 90s.
The Giants game, he played all right.
That was the 89 season, Lonnie.
The Washington game, the nigga went 14 for 38, 36 completion.
Washington's the one I agree with you, Trent. I think they could have won that game. I really think so.
And then 1990 against the fucking what's his name? Against the 49ers, 38% completion.
That's one of the greatest teams ever assembled on both
matter,
sides
bro.
of the
It's
ball.
Excuse, bro.
Now, I
49ers all over
I disagree.
there's Hall of Famers all over that 49ers
It doesn't
defense,
matter.
bro.
He went back-to-back Super Bowls. Just
Wait, what percentage did you say, Trent?
Imagine.
He said 38%.
Imagine.
He was 10 for
imagine-
26.
Here's
That doesn't
a
sound like
perfect example.
38.
Imagine Justin Herbert in
still
2
bad,
back-to-back playoff games go from 38 completion percentage and 35. You know,
He was 10 for 26, Trent. He was 10 for 26.
Yeah, he was. Hold on.
But we gotta watch the game for
John
context,
Elway in the Super Bowl versus
It's 10 for 26, 35%.
38 completion percentage, 108 yards.
But hold on, but we gotta watch the game for context.
108 yards? Nah,
I watched the full game. It's on YouTube. I watched the full game.
Okay.
He played like shit. Dog shit. He played.
It was 55 to 10. It was 55 to 10.
Yeah, that's when they got the ass.
Oh, that was when they got blown out.
Yeah, that was bad. Yeah, he played terrible.
I got one more.
He ain't responsible for that 55 though. That's crazy.
I got one more for y'all. I got one more career for y'all. Just y'all want to keep going, or I can throw the last one at you.
You can do the last one.
All right. The last one is: would you rather have Eli Manning's career or Brett Favre's career?
How many? Brett Favre got 2, right, or 1?
No, Brett Favre.
But he went back to back.
Oh yeah, Brett got MVP.
Yeah, Brett.
Riddell's about to cap. Riddell's about to cap.
He literally 3-peat MVP. He has a Super Bowl ring.
He's about to cap. Watch Riddell. Watch
I want to
Riddell.
add one more.
Riddell, you're on the big screen. Let me hear you cap. Let me hear you cap, bro.
Taking Eli or Drew?
Riddell.
Drew.
I mean, what do you? I'm just thinking. I'm thinking.
Taking Drew?
Yeah, Drew.
Eli or Brett?
Taking Drew by far?
Why is he thinking about this?
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
I have no idea.
There's no way you're talking about a 3-time MVP with a Super Bowl and you even think about this shit right now, bro. And he literally got one of the best arms you ever seen.
I highly value playoffs. I'm gonna go Brett.
By the way, we're talking about back to back MVP.
Yeah, those years were crazy. I'm not gonna lie.
We're talking about 3 in a row.
Donnie, unquestionably, Brett Favre was the best quarterback in the league. Unquestioned.
He was a gunslinger, bro. He came in and
you taking Drew or Eli? You taking
Drew? Modern day
Drew Brees or Eli? Ooh.
Drew Brees, no discussion. No
discussion. Yeah, I'm sorry. Drew Brees to me is the most disrespected quarterback ever. And also the most unlucky quarterback
ever. He was cold. Lonnie, we were screwed out.
The most unluckiest quarterback ever.
Lonnie, we were literally screwed out of the NFL. Screwed us out of a Drew Brees, Tom Brady Super Bowl.
I was pissed.
Screwed out.
I mean, we got Drew Brees, Peyton Manning, so I'm not.
Lonnie,
Lonnie,
y'all got the ring though. So
I will pick. I'll pick Drew Brees. I think also that Super Bowl he won was on a huge moment too, because that was right
I
after
think Drew Brees is nice,
Katrina
bro.
too. So like, he
Yeah.
had the entire world behind him basically, and then he won it. Yeah, I'm gonna go Drew Brees. No lie.
All right,
All-time
y'all.
passing, well,
Let's.
not anymore, but he was the all-time passing leader.
What
All
else
right,
you
y'all.
got?
We've wasted enough time. Let's get into it. First things first. I wanted to make sure you guys did not no preparation, but I need a show of hands. And Trent, if you can turn on your camera for a little bit. Who here thinks that Eli Manning is a Hall of Famer?
No questions asked. I'm not gonna lie.
Donnie always says no, bro. He's so
All right.
I'll
So
start off.
we are going to debate this. First things first. I need y'all. I'm gonna have you guys talk for probably about at max 5 minutes about why Eli Manning's a Hall of Famer, and then the people who do not think he's a Hall of Famer. I think it's me and Donnie, right? Me and Donnie do not believe he's a Hall of Famer.
I really,
we will give our rebuttal.
I'm like 50-50 on
And
this.
here's-
That's why I didn't.
Nah, Johnny, which side you dying on, my boy? Which side you
I
dying
don't know.
Hold up.
I don't
Trent
know.
Trent called it first.
Okay,
So
yeah.
Trent,
Kurt
I'm gonna give you
Warner's
the
a Hall
big
of Famer.
screen.
Eli Manning.
Tell me why
I'm
Eli
gonna keep
Manning.
it short and simple. I'm gonna keep it short and simple.
Kurt Warner's a
I
Hall
don't
of Famer.
even have
Eli
to
Manning's a
talk
Hall of
for
Famer.
like. I mean, it's not even about to be a 30-second like explanation. If Warren Moon's mid-ass career for the NFL, not his CFL career, because we know he got a hold for racism and shit. We're talking about his NFL career. If his mid-ass career and he got into the Hall of Fame, Eli Manning is 100% a Hall of Famer. That's about it. That's all I can say. That's that simple. If Warren Moon's a Hall of Famer with his career and how niggas shit on Eli Manning's career, and his shit is literally the exact same with no Super Bowls, Eli Manning's a Hall of Famer.
I think that's unfair though, because Warren Moon was literally Warren Moon was not allowed to play in the NFL because he was black.
We're talking about Warren Moon played for 20 years.
The NFL Hall of Fame.
We're talking about the NFL Hall of Fame.
But
He
we didn't get to see the best of Warren Moon in the NFL.
It doesn't matter. We're talking Riddell. Warren Moon played for 20 years in the NFL after they let him in. He played for 20 years.
He played a lot of years.
You go look at Warren Moon's career. At best, he has 2 good seasons.
I think that
he played more years than Eli Manning. You realize
no, but I think the fact that we never got to see his best in the NFL should matter.
It doesn't matter. He made the look. We didn't even get to see his best. NFL. Majority of his career was fucking mid, and he made the Hall of Fame. If that's the case, Eli Manning is 100%, no guarantees, no questions asked, a Hall of Famer. Is that simple?
I do want to say,
Dev, there's only one Hall of Fame.
Oh, okay. I'm tripping. I know I'm tripping.
Dev, do you want to go up? Are you also in the Eli Manning's Hall of Fame?
Yeah. It's pretty easy why he's the Hall of Famer. Eli's the all-time. He's like top. Is he top 10 passing yards?
Top 10. He's top 10 in every stat.
Yeah, in every stat,
including picks.
The 2 Super Bowl rings. Yes. But he also has a longevity.
I think Kurt Warner's a Hall of Fame.
Literally, statistically, even though he probably wasn't like the best quarterback, he has the stats and the longevity to back up his Hall of Fame career, and like that's why he should be in the Hall of Fame. He has the stats, he has the proven stats and the wins to. I think the wins solidify why he's a Hall of Famer. I think the stats you can make a case because what other quarterback has like the passing yards he has, the completion he has. And granted, he does have a lot of interceptions. So does Brett Favre. And I'm not saying Brett Favre is in his realm because Brett Favre is clearly the better quarterback. But there's other all-time great quarterbacks have a lot of interceptions. I bet Josh Allen by the end of his career going to have a lot of INTs. So I think Eli Manning is a Hall of Famer based off his stats and his longevity. Just because, like, he literally played how many games in a row? He didn't have a record of how many games right now.
He was the NFL Iron Man after Brett Favre retired.
Like, come on now,
210 games in a row before
he didn't.
It was benched.
I don't think he got injured when he got set. I think he
didn't.
No, he was benched. He was benched.
Yeah, they just benched him, so it was like they just did it for no reason. I'm not gonna lie.
All right, Lonnie, you also believe that Eli Manning.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Tell me why.
So I'm just gonna be objective. Lesser players have made it, and he has his 2 rings. Because basically, you could say what you want, but the fact that he beat the best player in the world at the time, it kind of legitimizes it. But at the same time, if he doesn't beat the best player, does it really get in? That's a different conversation. But because his legacy is tied so heavily to Brady, who is one of the GOATs, by definition, he has to get in because of his legacy to Brady. So, yeah, my GOAT gets people in the Hall of Fame.
All right, Bonnie, obviously I'm on the other side. Donnie.
Well, hold on. Before y'all get your anti-agenda, you ain't gonna skip past me, dog. Listen up.
Oh, my bad.
Right?
I apologize.
Yeah,
Let me
we
give
here.
it a full screen.
Of course, a lot of people were telling the facts. So there's a lot of things I want to get into, but let's start off with the accolades. Let's be the stat merchants to start off with, and then we'll go into his situation. We'll go into the coaching. We'll go into all of that. We'll tell you guys the truth of Eli Manning's situation, but we'll get there. But in terms of the stats, let's talk about the accolades and stats. Obviously, 2 Super Bowls, 2 Super Bowl MVPs. Very, very, very few quarterbacks have done that in their career. Let's keep it a buck, right? I think only 7, maybe 8 now because of Mahomes. We got the Bradys, the Montanas, the Bradshaw, the Stars. Eli's in that conversation. So that's good stuff right there. More than Drew Brees, more than Aaron Rodgers, and of course, more than Peyton Manning. But, we'll start off with there. So playoff Super Bowl success right there in terms of accolades. In terms of stats, obviously, top 10 in passing yards of all time, top 10 in passing touchdowns of all time. Who is that above? Well, that's above our fan favorites like Joe Montana, John Elway, Warren Moon.
How about interceptions?
Let's be very clear. They played around the same amount of time. So it's not like a huge gap between Eli's play time and them. But, he's above them. Well, okay, what else? What else do we talk about? Oh, interceptions. 12th on the list. That's terrible. But you know who he's below? Dan Marino. Did you know that? He's below Dan Marino in interceptions of all time. Brett Favre, obviously. Peyton Manning, of course. He only has 1 more interception than Drew Brees. Well, we don't cook Drew Brees. We don't cook Drew. Yo, Trent.
What's the TD to INT ratio?
Yo, Trent, that's crazy. Okay, that all right. We back on part. But yeah, so hey, there's quarterbacks that we don't scrutinize for interceptions that are below him or around his realm. But just putting that out there. And of course, what's an interesting stat? Which I really want to go like per game for passing yards per game, because that's an interesting stat. Eli Manning's 21st. You know what I'm saying? He's higher than Josh Allen, Brett Favre, Warren Moon, Russell Wilson, Tony Romo. Hey, the stats are there. The accolades are there. And when we're talking about quarterbacks that are similar careers, it really starts and ends with that conversation. If these guys are in the Hall of Fame and Eli's career is better than these guys, then what are we talking about? So that's we'll start off with the stats and accolades. We'll get into the other stuff, but sounds like a Hall of Fame career to me, if we be honest with ourselves. Not gonna lie.
You just brought up Tony Romo in Hall of Fame. I was with you until you said Tony Romo.
No, I said he had a higher passing yards per game than Tony Romo, because people like
not going to be in the Hall of Fame.
Okay, I also said Josh Allen. I also said Brett Favre. Are you going to stick on Tony Romo?
Can you please go first?
You said Brett Favre?
Yes.
It's a Hall of Famer.
He has a higher yards.
Hey, hold up, y'all. Let Donnie cook.
Put me out of full screen real quick, because I just have one question to ask.
I got you.
I have one question. Is the question, do I think he's going to get in, or would I put him in?
I think, look, I think we all acknowledge, right, that he's going to get in eventually. We all acknowledge that. The problem is, would you put him in? I think his Super Bowl wins are so...
Based off the current Hall of Fame, not your make-believe Hall of Fame that doesn't exist. Based off the current Hall of Fame, will he get in?
I don't know. I mean, do I think he's going to get in? Yeah, I think he'll get in. But would I put him in? I don't know if I have an answer for that right now. I think I'd have to go back and watch a lot. But I agree he's probably going to get in. I don't think he gets in first ballot, though. I don't see that.
You know what's crazy? I looked up the leaders in TD INT ratio, and I can't even find Eli. So Drew Brees is at, because you mentioned Drew Brees is at 12 with 2.35. I found Peyton at 2.15, and I'm still looking for Eli, and this goes all the way down to 50. Marino's at 44, so 1.67. Then Warner, so I don't think he's top 50 in TD INT ratio. That's kind of crazy.
The way it sounds though,
but
it sounds like it's going down though, like because you said 2. So
the highest TD INT ratio is Rodgers with 4.52.
Dang.
Then there's a big drop off.
This man Aaron's crazy.
But I never brought up
actually a big drop off.
ratio.
Mahomes is second with 3.48, so that's a big drop off from 1 to 2.
I looked
Dang,
up.
this nigga Aaron crazy.
I looked up what Eli's is. It's what. It's hold on. It's 1.49.
Oh yeah, so that's not even top 50 because Cam Newton's at 50 with 1.58.
Not good.
Hey, W Cam.
Oh, but my question is,
You don't think I can find Hall of Famers that have a worse one? I can't.
Hold on,
You could. I'm with you. He's in the Hall of Fame. He's in the Hall of Fame.
All right, hold on, real quick. My problem is when you're saying 4.5, that's the best, right? But then as we're going down, it's getting worse.
Yes,
that's the point of Lonnie's making.
So he's not top 50.
Yeah, Eli doesn't have a good TD anterior ratio. None of us disagree. Yeah,
so
for sure.
Donnie, you done? So can I go real quick?
I just don't really like. Ask me again after I don't know. Maybe this can be my next film thing. Every now and then I like to break down. What it is. Like just a couple months ago, I did a whole breakdown of every single snap from Penei Sewell and Trent Williams during last year, and I decided who was better. Currently, and Trent knows about this. Currently, I had a take about Payne and Mahomes, saying I'd still take Payne over him. But currently watching as much Payne as I can. I've already watched all the Mahomes stuff that I can. So I don't know. Maybe I'll add that next to my list.
Right, let me go ahead and take center stage. Now look, the one thing that I think we all can agree in is just that Eli Manning is eventually going to make the Hall of Fame. He should not be first ballot. All right.
No.
Now I brought up T.O. as an example. If they made T.O. wait, because legitimately their argument against T.O. was just that the writers didn't like him. They should make Eli Manning wait a lot more. And ironically, this Eli Manning is now up for being in the Hall of Fame. And if you're looking at just the quarterbacks that are coming after him, you have Phillip Rivers and Big Ben coming in either next year or the year afterwards. Tom Brady's going to be here soon enough, and then Rodgers is going to be here a couple years after that. Let alone
he better not be in the same class as Brady. I'll crash out.
So when we're looking at the totality of Eli Manning's career, okay, was he a playoff demon in the two playoff? So in the two playoff runs, absolutely. His playoff wins cannot be denied. Okay, they cannot be, right? But a lot of people also fail to mention he also has really bad lows as a playoff performer. In 2008, his best team that went 12-4, that was also the number one seed in the NFC. They played Philadelphia at home, and I'm gonna make sure I look up his stats to make sure that I'm right here. Give me 1 second, because I had to make sure that I came correct. He was in 2008, his best team that went 12-4. Eli Manning posted at home was 15 for 29, 169 yards, no touchdowns, and 2 picks.
Did Plaxico Burress play in that game?
Huh?
Did Plaxico Burress play in that game?
No, that's when he got his shot his leg. He was in jail.
No, that he did not play.
He was missing his best weapon.
But you cannot excuse.
Yeah, you can't excuse it though.
You cannot excuse that.
Oh, I'm not. But let's add context, of course.
We add context, but that's an all-time.
But you brought this up to criticize him. That's why you brought.
Yeah, but absolutely. Right? I was going to say that before you cut me off. He did not have his best playoff. He did not have his best playoff receiver. But you cannot excuse 169 yards, no touchdowns, 2 picks, and a passer rating of 40.
Oh, that's another game though.
Okay. So he also had another bad game. Now this one he was younger, right? He was younger. But in 2005, he went 10 for 18 for 55% completion, 113 yards, 0 touchdowns, and 3 picks against the Carolina Panthers.
Oh, that's when like the Steve Smith and was going crazy, but the 05 Giants weren't that good either. But
Trent, are we legitimately excusing 113 yards and 3 picks?
I don't remember that game. I have to look back. I have to go look at the picks. So I mean, you got that one. That's for sure.
So
that game,
now, like I said, if we look at his regular season, a career 500 quarterback, literally his career stats are 117 wins, 117 losses. Obviously, that's not all on him, Riddell. I'm not saying that. Now, was he supported well by the Giants? No, he was not. But he also definitely made sure he didn't help them. He took all the money he could. Like I said, when Eli Manning retired, he was the highest paid quarterback of all time. He was highest paid. No, I'm not saying he should have, as is his right.
That's not true though, Randall. That's not true.
He was the highest paid quarterback when he left, Trent.
I'm saying he didn't what's the name? Detriment the team because literally he just had bad luck.
No. I agree with you, Trent. But also I'm saying when your quarterback continually takes top flight money, does it not hamper your team's ability to give you players? Now, to give him an out, were the Giants doing their very best to help him? No. Absolutely not.
They weren't even doing their medium best.
But if you even look at his best season in 2015, he had first team All Pro Odell Beckham Jr. The team went 6-10. He threw for 35 touchdowns and 14 picks.
You talking about the 2016 year?
2016 year.
Oh yeah. If you better say that's gonna be on his fault, everybody knows they had like 8 drops that game. Yeah, no.
So, but also, I don't care what you say.
I mean, defense was
2013
terrible.
when he threw 18 touchdowns and 27 picks.
Okay.
In the era, and I'm not trying to I'm not trying to air attacks Eli Manning, but we can all acknowledge that the passing game definitely flourished in the 2010s, right?
Yeah, Big Ben has done the same thing.
Absolutely. Sure. And look, when I said that, I don't, and also my criteria for the Hall of Fame is a lot more stringent than most people. I don't think Kurt Warner should be in the Hall of Fame, but at least Kurt Warner was an MVP. He was a top 5 quarterback. At Eli Manning's best, he was a fringe top 10 quarterback. He legitimately he has 3 20 interception seasons. As the game became better, he legitimately, you could say, was worse. 3 intercept, led the league more times, led the league in picks a tremendous amount of times. We're talking 17 picks, 18 picks, 20 picks, 25 picks, 27 picks, 16 picks. I just don't think that when you look at his totality of his resume, that I don't think that Eli Manning belongs in the Hall of Fame. Is he in the Hall of Very Good? I agree with you. You got to give him his credit for beating Tom Brady twice, and also the fact that Tom Brady kept on winning. And every time Tom Brady won a Super Bowl, somebody in New York was like, I can't believe we beat that guy twice.
Yeah, so why is Dan Marino a Hall of Famer?
I think Dan Marino's Hall of Famer because he was kind of the first modern quarterback, and also he was a product of his time. He was a first modern quarterback, but he played in the 80s. Now, if you want to air attacks that, because if you look at it, Joe Namath, even at the time,
come off full screen.
Yeah, so even at the time, Trent, Joe Namath, I would not have put him in the Hall of Fame. The man has more interceptions than he has touchdowns, and that was in the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
But he's more of a cultural icon than he is. He's more known for his guarantee than he is playing quarterback. Terry Bradshaw, you want to talk about a guy who was legitimately had the most help of all time, carrying with some tremendous defenses that are in the top 10 of all time. Terry Bradshaw should not be a Hall of Famer.
Okay.
All right. Before we dive into potential inconsistencies, based off the current Hall of Fame, is he a Hall of Famer?
Is Dan Marino Hall of Fame based on this current Hall of Fame?
I don't think so.
So Eli, based off this current Hall of Fame, is not a Hall of Famer?
In my opinion, I still don't think Eli should be a Hall of Famer.
That doesn't make any sense, bro. No.
Because his highest even individual accolade is the fact that he won Walter Payton Man of the Year. He like Lonnie said, he made the Pro Bowl 4 times, but 3 of those were his injury alternates.
Do you think in today, what your criteria, how you think, do you think Dan Marino is a Hall of Famer?
I would say yes because of what he meant to the game.
So Eli pulling literally 2 of the greatest upsets of all time. It's not historical.
That's noteworthy, Trent. We should probably put a plaque in the Hall of Fame or something.
So how does Dan Marino how does Dan Marino get in the Hall of Fame? Well, all he did was he threw 5K in 80s for sure. The rest of that nigga career was fucking mid.
He was a first modern quarterback
Wasn't mid.
In an era
where impact, does Michael Vick deserve to be in the Hall of Fame?
No.
Shit. I guess
so. No, if we're talking impact, then might as well.
I'm talking about how he played. He was a first
about how Michael Vick played.
He was the first modern quarterback we've ever seen. In an era where it's definitely the game was geared toward more running the ball than he was passing.
Random. My whole thing and my argument is that Eli does have the career stats though to be inside the Hall of Fame. That's the thing. He does have the passing yards, the touchdowns.
My problem with the career stats is when Kirk Cousins retires, he's gonna have more numbers.
But hold on.
He's going to be a Hall of Famer.
But that matters though. All that matters.
He's probably going to be a Hall of Famer.
Because
why not? I would need more playoff success for Kirk.
Is Phillip Rivers going to be in the Hall of Fame?
I don't know. I don't think so.
No, because Rondo.
Phillip Rivers was held. Phillip Rivers at the helm of the most talented team to never make the playoffs.
That doesn't mean anything to the Hall of Fame criteria.
I don't think Phillip Rivers is a Hall of Famer.
That doesn't mean Phillip Rivers is most likely probably going to be a Hall of Famer.
I'm gonna tell you.
Top 10 in passing yards, top 10 in touchdowns. He's probably going to be a Hall of Famer.
Oh my God!
And
I agree with Deion Sanders more and more every day.
And even though he probably, like you say, he choked, Matt Ryan's always gonna be in the Hall of Fame. Because his thing.
Fuck? No, he should not be.
Wait, what? No.
Matt Ryan should not be a Hall of Famer.
No.
Why?
There's no way. There's no way we're sitting here about to tell me, oh, Warren Moon is in the Hall of Fame. Dan Marino's in the Hall of Fame. You're not telling me Matt Ryan's not a Hall of Famer.
Matty Ice.
He's literally a Hall of Famer.
You're talking about the guy that has the greatest choke job in the playoffs and the regular season?
That has nothing to do with Hall of Fame.
That was not his fault.
Warren Moon before the 28-3 had the biggest choke job in playoff history.
And then Matt Ryan said, hold my beer. Matt Ryan said, hold my beer.
The Atlanta Falcons. It was on Matt Ryan. It was on.
So did Warren and Matt Ryan didn't choke that thing. Honestly, you want to watch
Shanahan in the O-line. Shanahan in the O-line.
I agree.
No one talks about that.
You said
he's the face. Matt Ryan's the face of that choke job.
You said Warren Moon was a Hall of Famer.
Shanahan in the O-line.
Warren Moon was literally a part of the head quarterback, the face of the fucking Oilers, was part of the biggest choke job before 28-3. The Knicks were up 40 points in a playoff game. It got so bad. The Bills were coming back. Niggas was trying to crawl into the stadium to get in the game. Let's not Matt Ryan is going to be in the Hall of Famer.
I think a lot in my career. I don't think a lot of quarterbacks are in the Hall of Fame.
And Randall. So basically, I think
I'm just blown away at the fact that
I think I see where Trent Rondell. I think Randall. I think Randall.
I don't know. Serious Trent. I don't know about Kurt. I think he hasn't done shit. He has 2 playoff wins.
I want to bet all of y'all that if Phillip Rivers makes the Hall of Fame, Kirk Cousins will go in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he's not lying.
I want to bet all of y'all. Yes. If Phillip Rivers makes the Hall of Fame, I want to bet Kirk Cousins.
No, he's not lying.
Phillip Rivers should not make the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, but at least he has one playoff win.
I don't know if Phillip Rivers will make it though.
Phillip Rivers shouldn't make the Hall of Fame either, Trent.
But
you're not look. He's top 10 in passing yards, top 10 in touchdowns. They're probably gonna give him a Hall of Fame nod. They probably are.
Shouldn't be
maybe at the very least down the line.
But
think that though. He doesn't.
Dev, go ahead.
Go ahead.
You've been talking.
Okay, the thing that's confusing is the Hall of Fame is a career thing. It's not just about peak. It's about what you did. So the stats that matter.
The playoff, but how you perform when the lights are brightest matters, Dev.
He has 5 wins.
I know it matters.
Eli Manning is
Eli Manning's in Hall of Fame.
But his regular season resume hampers him.
You just cooked your own logic.
No, it doesn't. You I agree. Listen, I agree with Dev. I agree with Dev that your whole thing, but just of how bright Eli Manning's playoff career is how low his regular season career is. That should matter. Throwing 27 picks when the passing game has flourished is crazy.
Same thing with Warren Moon. He's in the Hall of Fame. So why does that matter?
I don't think Warren Moon should be in the Hall of Fame. I think he made it because
but we're talking about people. We are talking about people who are in the Hall of Fame who have done the same shit Eli has done, but literally worse.
I agree with Deion Sanders more and more every day. Because I don't think because I'm one of those people where, like, I'd go in there, what
do you think about Drew Brees having 1 less interception than Eli Manning? Do you care at all?
I think Drew Brees
doesn't he have way more touchdowns?
He has way more highs, so he gets
no.
He's the most accurate quarterback of all time, Riddell.
That's not the point. That's not the point. You keep on criticizing Eli for interceptions. That's like a big thing you keep on saying.
But doesn't he have way more touchdowns?
Stop. That's irrelevant.
How is that irrelevant?
Drew Brees played how many more
games? You stay on this one right now. You stay on this point.
Drew Brees played how many more games?
You keep on cooking Eli Manning for interceptions.
Let me check, Donnie.
You keep on bringing it up. So if you're doing that, do you cook other people who throw a lot of interceptions?
571.
I'm looking
287 to 236, so 50 more games. Okay, yeah, that's okay. Come on.
Wait,
be serious.
Drew Brees has 571 touchdowns. Eli Manning has 366.
I'm not talking
not
about
even
touchdowns.
close.
Drew Brees is better. So you guys keep
So
on bringing.
Drew Brees has one more
Okay,
interception.
but I've mentioned. Okay,
That's
but
like-
mentioned
that's
that
200 more touchdowns, Lonnie. 200 more touchdowns.
No, I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
These are not the
Mentioning
points.
Ryan Tees is.
You're arguing these points. My point is very strict on random. No. My point is very strict on random. We can bring up other people in terms of who has more interceptions than Eli too, because he's number 12 on the list. There's 11 people above him. But do you keep the
How many
same
more touchdowns
energy?
do they all have than him?
Why do you keep bringing up touchdowns?
Because that's important.
What the fuck?
That
This is
affects his
important,
touchdown to
Rodell.
interception.
No,
ratio.
because no.
That's
It's
very important.
No,
That's
if
production versus
versus
negative.
No. Because we're talking about touchdowns. Eli's top 10 all-time touchdowns. But if we're talking about
200 more touchdowns, Rodell.
hold on.
200 more
Random's
touchdowns.
Random's biggest point he keeps on bringing up is interceptions. That's what he's focusing on. I'm not talking about who's better. I'm talking about, okay, if you criticize people who are throwing a lot of interceptions, are you keeping the same energy with other quarterbacks throughout history throwing a lot of interceptions? Do you keep that same energy?
Yes.
Do you
but
keep
also add
that same
context,
energy
Rodell.
for
Rodell,
Brett
add
Favre,
context.
who
Drew
leads
Brees
the entire
has literally-
NFL in interceptions?
Lonnie, I'm literally looking at Drew Brees has damn near 250 more touchdowns.
We ain't
250 more touchdowns. How do you just discount that? How do you discount 250 more touchdowns?
I never said Drew Brees was worse than
Well,
Eli.
I can't speak for random Rodell, but when I'm talking about bring up
You're
Eli,
not bringing up interceptions, Lonnie. He keeps on bringing it up.
yeah, but I'm saying when I bring up Eli's interceptions, it's like compared to his production, which is his touchdowns. So when I talk about his interceptions, I'm talking about compared to his production. So Brett Favre, yeah, he's all-time leader in interceptions, but he's also fourth in TDs. So it's like, does the production outweigh the negative? In this case,
yes.
Eli Manning's 2 Super Bowls outraised his regular season woes. It literally does. And if you about to tell me it don't, we're literally lying.
This is what I say. I think Eli Manning is.
I just want to watch. I just want to watch as much tape as I can before I give out an opinion.
Lonnie, if you want to go down the line you're saying, then we could have a conversation about why things are happening. If Random's focusing on interceptions consistently, then I want you to keep the same energy. But now we're talking about production. That means we're talking about the situation. All right, let's talk about Eli Manning's situation. Let's talk about his scheme. Let's talk about his coaching. Let's talk about the offense, the talent around him, his offensive line, his defense. Let's really talk about the New York Giants when Eli Manning was in control.
Do you want to go through tape with Trent and go down every single interception he's ever made?
And Eli was set up to fail, bro. He literally got set up.
He was in a bad.
I don't disagree, Trent. But I'm saying
no. The point I'm making is that he was in a bad situation.
Yeah, but how many interceptions in your just a percentage? On a scale of 1 to 10, what number is some of his interceptions his fault?
27 picks is crazy, bro.
Yeah, see, he keeps on bringing up one season.
But look, I'm even looking at Drew Brees.
We're talking about the entirety of his career.
No, Rodell, fine. Let's talk about his entirety of his career. Obviously, Drew Brees played longer. 50
Drew
more
Brees
games.
is better. Yeah,
but look, Drew Brees only threw above 20 interceptions once.
Drew Brees is better, okay?
But I think the fact that you're harping on his interceptions when Drew Brees
I'm not.
Longer,
you are. This is why I'm countering what you're talking.
No. Yeah, I am though, because when you're looking at the cost to benefit ratio, it doesn't match. Drew Brees literally has 250 more touchdowns. I understand he played longer, but I could also attribute to him having one more interception. I'm sorry. Than
okay, so
he has one less interception, but
he has one less interception. He played longer, 50
but
games.
In one of the season, I think it was either 2011. He didn't have a good touchdown interception ratio. Then he went in the playoffs, played efficient football, and won the Super Bowl. So okay. What does that mean in the entirety? Because you guys are talking about the production, the cost-efficient ratio. What does that mean? What does that mean in this conversation? If Eli, despite doing what you guys are saying he's doing, is still succeeding.
Drew Brees played 4 more years. Drew Brees played 4 more years. His worst interception. Hold up. His worst interception to touchdown ratio was when he was with the Chargers.
When he keep bringing up
touchdowns and 16 picks.
Wait, question to Trent and Rodell: is Cam Newton a Hall of Famer?
Probably not. No,
not to me.
He's not.
No, he's not.
He didn't do enough. That's my biggest thing.
No, he's probably not.
I think I do think he'll get in.
He probably will get in, but I want him to get in. But to go back, if y'all keep bringing up Drew Brees, I'm gonna keep bringing up Warren Moon. Warren Moon, 1 season, 13 TDs, 26 picks. No matter what era that is, that's fucking insane.
I agree with you. That's why I say Warren.
We're talking about what the Hall of Fame is going to do. Yeah, we might agree. You don't think he'd be a Hall of Famer. We're talking about the Hall of Fame. You're not telling me based off Eli Manning's career, he's not a Hall of Famer.
He based off their criteria, he'll get in. Like
he's not. You cannot tell
my
me
criteria because my criteria.
They literally let in Warren Moon.
No,
His shit is ass.
He's gonna get in.
I think it's more of a cultural thing.
It doesn't matter, bro. You can have culture.
You keep on bringing some extra reasons for these guys.
If that's the case, then that goes back to Lonnie's point with the special treatment shit. Yeah, we understand you couldn't get into the NFL back then in your prime because of racism. We understand that. But he played 20 years in the league. Majority of his years, when you look at the stats, that shit is not good. And he still made the Hall of Fame.
Eli's stats are better, plus the playoff production.
He's gonna get in. He's gonna get in. But at the same time, two things can be true. Because the way if I could make my own Hall of Fame for the NFL, it'd be like, were you elite at your time in your era? Were you considered top 5-ish, top 10? And if by that criteria, Eli doesn't make that cut based off of that. But do I think based off of the NFL's criteria of like how they let people in? Yeah, he's gonna get in. He's gonna get in.
By that, Lonnie, I want to ask Random something. Hey, Random, do you think Mike Evans is a Hall of Famer?
No. If you're going by Lonnie's logic of being top 5, then no, he's not.
I'm talking about just the Hall of Fame criteria period. Do you think Mike Evans is a Hall of Fame?
Well, it's traditionally very hard for receivers to make the Hall of Fame. So I think they're going to make him wait like Chris Carter waited. But eventually
Torrey Holt still hasn't gotten in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Torrey Holt still hasn't gotten in.
But Trent, we know that it's traditionally very hard for receivers to make the Hall of Fame.
Okay, I was asking.
No,
so,
okay.
But
so so going into Eli's situation a little bit. So question for Random, since he's the only, and Donnie's in like in between, but mostly Random. And Lonnie too, if you want to answer, Trent, of course. Do you guys think Eli was in a prime situation to be an elite quarterback his entire career?
No, but at the same time, that doesn't boost or negate you from getting into the MVP. Because you can say the same thing for Cam. Cam wasn't in the prime.
Riddell, the only time he was in those situations, that's when literally his good season happened.
No, I 100% agree. That's why I'm like curious. If you know what's crazy, because I actually went through down the line of like quarterbacks drafted number 1 overall since like the 2000s. Eli might be the best one. Not in terms of. No, let me be very clear.
There's been a lot of quarterbacks that have gone into really bad situations when you look at.
Well, you said drafted number 1 overall. He was never drafted number 1 overall.
I want to be clear.
Wasn't he not?
When I'm saying
drafted number 1 and they traded him?
They traded him because they traded him. He was
they traded him for Phillip Rivers.
Oh, he was the number 1.
Yeah, he was.
I thought it was just later in the draft. Never mind. Whatever.
Yeah. But when I say he's the best one, I'm talking about not necessarily he was the better player, because like Peyton obviously is better than Eli, but the team you are drafted to and what you did to that team. And I'm glad, Don, you said a lot of these quarterbacks in are terrible situations. Sounds like the New York Giants, but he was able to stick through it and win 2 Super Bowls. That actually doesn't happen. Like when you really think about it, getting drafted number 1 overall to your team and having a consistently bad situation for the majority of your career, and you won 2 Super Bowls, like that's ridiculous. That's actually ridiculous.
He's an outlier, Riddell, in multiple situations, because you can. To your point, yeah, you can say that. To another one of your points, he's the only quarterback to beat a 16-0 team. So you can say that too. So like he has a lot of outlier points to help his case. That's why I think he's going to get in, because in a lot of cases he's an outlier. But also on the flip side, and how he's an outlier in terms of production, he's on the way lower end in terms of people in the Hall of Fame. Like if the Hall of Fame is like if the Hall of Fame is like a ladder, he gets in, but he's at the bottom of the ladder of the Hall of Fame. That's just going to be the reality.
Riddell, I also think we should
a good chunk of those guys though.
But Riddell, I also
think
relative
to era.
I also think it should be mentioned that I understand
I'm not judging his stats off of someone in the 50s. I'm not doing that shit. That's
Riddell, I also think it should be mentioned that I understand he has tremendous playoff highs, but he also has horrible playoff lows. Throwing for 113 yards
games, bro. It's only 2
bad games. What are we doing?
That's generationally bad, though.
Generationally. You're not going to tell me the one in 2005 was generational, bro. I'm sorry.
113 yards and 3 picks.
Bro. I'm going to have to look that shit back, bro. I'm not.
113 yards and 3 picks. When he had his best team, he had 2 running backs. The first time it ever happened that he had 2 running backs run for over 1,000 yards, and he throws for 169 yards and 2 picks with his best team, and he lost at home.
It's not his best team, bro.
What was that? His second year starting in the NFL?
Just because he had Tiki Barber does not mean he was his best team.
That was 2008.
Oh,
the
2008?
year after 2008, the year after they beat the Patriots, they went 12-4, the number 1 seed in the NFC, and he goes and he hosts Philadelphia in the playoffs, and he goes 15 for 29, 169 yards, and no touchdowns and 2 picks. And also, it's not even like he was outplayed by the other guy.
It was a bad game. Like, I literally wrote in my notes, 2008 choked. I agree. That was a bad game. Even though he was missing Plaxico Burress, it was still a bad game. Yeah, game.
That should also be mentioned. As tremendous as his highs were, and Riddell, I want to make sure this is perfectly clear. Maybe the best playoff win of all time, maybe the best Super Bowl win of all time. But let's not sit here and pretend like he was always lily white in the playoffs, because he was not. He has one of the worst playoff wins. He has one of the worst playoff performances in NFL history. 113 yards and 3 picks, 169 yards and 2 picks, especially when you're the number 1 seed at home.
Games
that should matter.
His Super Bowl runs outweigh those badass playoff games.
Oh, I don't
Clearly,
man.
You're not going to tell me, John. You're not going to tell me those playoff runs he has outweighs those 2 bad games he had in the playoffs. No question.
I'm not saying that, but let's not sit here and pretend like he was always a playoff. Those as high as those playoff.
He's not a perfect playoff performer, but who is? Like, what are we doing?
What's his playoff record? What's his playoff record?
8-4. He's 8-4 in the playoffs.
12 total playoff.
Even Mahomes had a bad game against the Bengals. That was a bad game.
Never that bad.
That was a bad half.
He was
yeah.
Mahomes was never that bad. Let's keep it a stack,
No, I'm gonna keep it real. That
Mahomes was never that bad.
That half,
Mahomes is better than Eli. My point is
that
not to
half
say,
for Mahomes was.
Oh, it was dreadful.
Bad.
It was disgusting. I can't believe they came back. But the point I'm making is not to say Mahomes is as good. Mahomes clears Eli. Freaking Peyton clears Eli. These people, but they also have bad games. So like this whole 1 or 2 bad game thing is pretty nasty. I'm not gonna lie. Like, what are we doing right now?
I would agree with you if he was like 100 and if he was like 212 yards,
games,
a touchdown and a pick. But going 113 yards and 3 picks is crazy.
Elo also went for a whole playoff run, 1,100 passing yards, 9 TDs, and 1 pick.
I agree.
So that outweighs the 2 bad playoff games.
As high as his playoff highs were, that's as low as his playoff lows were.
Bro, they don't. Bro, what are we doing?
I am not letting y'all just disavow.
Did Eli make or not make the playoffs more often than not?
2050, 113 yards.
He made the playoff
would not be just wiped over.
He's at half. So he made the playoff less than half the time.
Oh, for sure. He's had a lot of bad.
So how do you value that? Like, guys, let's say a quarterback that wins, that gets to the playoffs and loses more often, or a quarterback that misses the playoffs more often, but when he gets to the playoffs, he does relatively well. Like, how do you value that?
I think it's relative to the expectation of the team. Majority of Eli's tenure, he had bad teams. He had terrible defenses. But if you have a competent team and you're always making it, then you're expected to win. Like Dak Prescott, like he had competent teams most of his career. Eli has it. So the only years he actually had a competent team, he made the playoffs every single time. And then, except one year, I think it was, I forget which year, he was 10-6 and missed the playoffs. I was pissed, bro. I can't. They were 10-6 and missed the playoffs. They could have made some noise. I stand by that. But that was like the only exception because it was just a weird playoff year. But other than that, every time he had a good team, he made the playoffs. And I would say like 2008, you could argue he choked. That's fine. Like even though he missed his best receiver.
So I think the question: where does everyone rank Eli like all time? Then like is that what's the disagreement though? Like he's obviously not in the upper echelon, top tier. He's not that. Not top 5. Not top 10. Top 20?
He's like top 30 or something like that.
Top 30?
Top 30. I'm like, nope. I don't have an exact number, but top 30. I think it's Jalen. You weren't here because I was talking about it. Because I was really looking into Eli and what he went through. It's very unprecedented to be a number 1 overall pick, get drafted to your team, stay with your team that's consistently bad, and somehow win 2 Super Bowls. Somehow you did it. Somehow you stayed and did it. Because you look at through all the quarterbacks that's drafted first in 2000, none of them really did that. Like he was more successful than every single one of them.
Really bad quarterbacks drafted number 1 overall.
Maybe the biggest get it done.
That's one more credit to Eli. Like he broke the trend. All these quarterbacks are in terrible situations. They stay in terrible situations. Maybe you have one outlier year. Like
he asked for a trade.
Huh?
He asked for a trade, so he wasn't in the same bad situation as the other first round QB.
Okay, I think he might have went to the worst situation. If he stayed with the Chargers,
you know what Eli to me
stays with the Chargers.
You know who Eli is to me? Like a basketball cop, Reggie Miller.
It's a worse situation.
Eli Manning is a Reggie Miller caliber player.
I'm not mad at that, but the Basketball Hall of Fame lets everybody in. So
that's but I think Eli's more the NFL Hall of Very Good or Hall of Good. Obviously, those 2 rings will get him over the edge. He'll make the Hall of Fame. But I just think he belongs in the Hall of Very Good.
Jalen, if he doesn't make it in first ballot, which by the way, I think it's him and Marshawn are kind of the headliners of this.
I have it pulled up because you guys were talking about it.
Go ahead, Donnie.
The only person I can really see making it first ballot is Luke Kuechly, and that's probably it. I mean, there's other names. There's Marshall Yonda. There's Marshawn Lynch. There's Eli Manning. I think
Yonda should make it before Eli.
Eli might make it first ballot though.
No, he should not. He should not.
I don't think he should. I don't think he should. Hold on. I don't think he should.
He's gonna be first ballot.
Wait, but
he's not. Hall of Very Good should not be first ballot.
Patrick Willis was not first ballot.
Who?
Eli's not getting first
ballot. But this one, check it out though. But the voters are gonna see him beating Tom Brady both times. And the Manning last name. Hold on. We know the Mannings are loved. We know the Mannings are loved by football fraternity.
Because he won't.
I'm talking the Manning last name and him beating Brady.
Let's not even. I understand that
Kuechly will because he didn't play long enough. Even though
Kuechly should because he's a top. He might be the best linebacker we've ever seen.
But he didn't.
I will bet. Do I want to?
Well, because Luke Kuechly deserves to be going. Luke Kuechly deserves it more than Eli by a mile.
On live.
Y'all underestimating the power of that last name. Like the Mannings are loved by football fraternity.
I don't care.
I agree, but not over Luke Kuechly. Luke Kuechly might be the best linebacker we've ever seen.
As a player, I get it.
Since this is our first bet, we'll make it 20. This is our first bet. We'll make it 20.
Okay, let me write that down. If Eli Manning will be your first ballot.
Eli Manning, first ballot Hall of Famer. I'll write it down for me too. So I'll make sure.
So let me say this, Lonnie. Jalen is right about something. There are big things in his cap. The fact that he defeated the undefeated Patriots, the fact that he beat Tom Brady twice, and the fact that he has the last name of Baby Dick, the most famous family in football.
No, I agree. I agree that he'll get in. But I'm saying
let's not end there.
If there's a situation where he gets in over Luke Kuechly, I will raise hell.
If T.O. had to wait, Eli Manning
differently. He does not deserve it more than Luke Kuechly does.
If T.O. had to wait,
he doesn't deserve it more than Luke Kuechly does. He doesn't.
Luke Kuechly is better than him.
Luke Kuechly's a top 5 linebacker to ever play the sport. Like, come on.
I agree.
That's what I'm saying. Like he's up there.
But the weight is just different. Plus the
top 5 all-time linebacker versus a top 30 QB. No, it's not different.
Okay, Eli Manning's aura different from Luke Kuechly though. Like Luke
Kuechly is a better player. I don't give a damn about no damn
Eli Manning's aura different.
Aura crazy. What are you talking about?
I'm telling you.
Yo, if Michael Vick actually had a good 2-3 playoff runs, maybe won 1 Super Bowl purely because of aura, not because of stats, he would have been first ballot. I'm telling you, the aura crazy, man.
We never got to see the
Kuechly.
We never got to see the best.
Yonda is a better player at his position than Eli was.
Kuechly made an All-Pro every year he played, except his rookie year.
Luke Kuechly.
You could argue that he should have made an All-Pro that year, Donnie. You could have argued that.
His rookie year, he was the defensive rookie of the year. That's
Cook.
Wait, so is it just Eli?
He was always better. By the way, I'm going to go and say this, and I don't think this is a hot take at all, but he was always better than Bobby Wagner. He always was.
He always
was always better than Bobby.
Yes, he was.
I'm glad you guys agree. Because I was arguing with someone the other day trying to tell me Bobby's better, and I just think that's absolutely ridiculous.
That's insane to say.
Yeah.
He's probably the most cerebral linebacker we've ever seen.
How many years did he play though?
Most versatile for
think
sure.
10.
He
10,
played
right?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He played 8.
He played 8 years.
And he has 5 first-team All-Pros.
Oh
That's
no,
what I'm saying.
he's
Like,
first
he
ballot.
played 8 years.
He's first
Okay,
ballot.
we say that, but Willis got like 6 in 9, and he didn't get in for a while. That's why I don't know if he'll get that. That's why.
But they both quit because they wanted to. They didn't, not because of injuries. They just didn't want to play anymore.
Hold on, real quick. The thing with Willis was he was always undershadowed by Ray Lewis. Kuechly was the guy at linebacker. He was always better than Bobby.
Sure.
So that's just me, and I think the NFL knows that too. That he was always better than Bobby. So that's why I think he has a better chance to get in.
Donnie, do you
as
think
much
if
as I
Willis
love
wins
Patrick
that-
Willis, I don't know.
if the
Nah,
49ers win that hardball Super Bowl,
He gets in.
He gets in. He gets in because Patrick Willis was is one of my favorite.
And also,
defensive players ever.
I know Trent has talked about this before, and I kind of agree with him that playoff performances outside of quarterback shouldn't matter that much. But his playoff run in 2015 really was good. He was out here making tackles left and right. I remember he had a clutch pass breakup. He had 2 interceptions. He had a sack, a QB hit. He was going crazy in those playoffs.
Was he on the 2011 49ers team?
Patrick
Willis?
Yeah.
Willis, he was. Yeah, he was.
He was.
Man, Eli beat Patrick Willis.
Actually,
Come on.
Actually, hold on. Was it?
I don't know.
think it might have just been Navarro Bowman. I don't know.
No,
Who else was
Navarro
on the
Bowman
ballot
and
this year?
Yeah, he
Patrick
was.
Willis.
Okay, he was. I thought so. He was.
Man, Eli beat.
Was he a rookie?
Patrick Willis?
Was he a rookie? Donnie?
Okay, I looked it up. Willis had so Willis was how many seasons? 1, 2, 3, 4. So he's the same as Kuechly. He played for 8 years and has 5 first-team All-Pros.
Nice.
I don't know, man. That to be legitimately
Eli beat
added
Aaron
as
Rodgers and
the
Patrick
best
Willis.
linebacker in your sport 5 times out of 8 years, that should make you first ballot.
No, that is tough. 5 and 8 years is definitely
No,
impressive.
he's legit, but he's like I said, quarterback treated differently, so he might not get it because linebackers are
If
not.
Eli
Did
doesn't
Urlacher
make it-
have to wait? Did Urlacher wait? Or was
I don't think he did.
if look, I'll say this: if Eli doesn't make it first ballot,
I think he would wait.
Donnie, he might have to wait a while.
What's up?
If Eli doesn't make it first ballot, he might have to wait a while because then Big Ben's gonna come in, and then after that's Brady, then Rodgers, then who else?
Well, this website right here tells me like who's eligible when, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think they might just do Brady. Brady might get his own. He might get his own.
Breeze is
It
eligible
is always
after
glazed.
this year, so he'll get in.
Oh,
first.
Breeze is getting in first ballot.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
I'm
Breeze
looking,
is
I'm
first
looking
ballot.
at it
He's
right now. I'm
definitely
looking at it
waiting.
right now. There's 2 guys who I think will easy get first ballot in the year after this upcoming one, and that's Breeze and Fitz. But yeah,
Mhm.
I don't know.
Breeze and Fit.
Hell, Adam Vinatieri isn't
Oh,
Adam
Fitzgerald,
Vinatieri
yeah.
up for
Adam
up for
Vinatieri.
Breeze?
Adam Vinatieri is this year. He's eligible for this
Oh,
year.
You think he's gonna be first ballot? He's the
No,
greatest
I
kicker. He might
People
be
just
the
hate
greatest kicker
kickers,
of
though.
all time.
I think they just hate kickers. They
They're
might
gonna make him wait.
I,
They're gonna make him wait.
It's
only
based
three,
on
only
it's
3
based on
kickers are in the
impact.
Hall of Fame, so I think they'll make
Oh,
it.
he's gonna get in.
He's gonna get in, but I just think
he's the greatest kicker of all time.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's Tucker, but yeah.
I agree.
Well,
with
let
you, but
me
I
say
think right
this,
now,
and we can wrap up the Eli Manning conversation. Last thing I'll say is ultimately, Eli Manning is going to be in the Hall of Fame. We all know this, but I do think people underappreciate how kind of crazy it was for Eli to be as successful as he was on these New York Giants teams. At the end of the day, if you really kind of diagnose these teams, like his weapons room wasn't the greatest throughout his tenure. He had a year where what's his name? Andre Brown and Peyton Hillis was his best running backs. Like some of this talent for the New York Giants wasn't great. When they did
Put
have
some respect on Peyton Hillis.
No, not on the New York Giants. Heck no.
Yeah,
Heck
I'm gonna say he had after that Madden cover, it was over for him.
yeah, it was GG's, bro. I don't know why we paid for Payne
one year
Hillis. I'm
wonder.
like, what are we doing?
It was a beast though in that Madden. I'm gonna say that.
But
straight.
the Giants didn't when they actually had like solid weapons. They really only had like one elite top tier generational talent, and that's Odell Beckham. But Eli was already like pretty old. But he had amazing years with Eli Manning, Odell Beckham. They played very well.
Respect Hakeem Nicks.
He wasn't like a generation. Plus, he got hurt. So Hakeem Nicks was solid, but he got hurt. Victor Cruz was solid. He got hurt. Plaxico Burress shot himself, and then a bunch of like mediocre receivers after that. 1 year, Martellus Bennett was their like best receiver for Eli Manning, and then his defenses. Like when I really looked at the defenses, about like 10 of those years was average to below average defenses with terrible offense.
Did he get to play with Tiki Barber ever or no?
He did. Tiki Barber carried him in his first 2
Early.
years. After they got rid of Tiki Barber, they won a
He
Super Bowl.
retired.
Oh,
Don't say they got
wow,
rid of him. He retired.
Tough.
He retired.
But I still stand by what I said. They won a
He
Super Bowl.
retired.
Cool. They won a Super Bowl. Like, what are you trying to prove? Like,
I'm just saying. Don't say
That
they got
sucks
rid
for
of him.
Tiki. He could have won a Super Bowl. That sucks for Tiki.
No, he would, bro, because he didn't mess with Eli, bro. He
didn't like Eli like that.
He didn't mess with Eli, bro.
Okay.
To be fair, he did come out and criticize him that year that they won the Super Bowl. So
yeah, because he was salty. He wasn't there. That's why.
So I will say this.
Hold on. Let me finish.
I apologize. Go ahead.
So ultimately, yeah, the defenses were mostly not good. Offensive talent wasn't that great. Offensive line was terrible, like the entirety of Eli's career. And even if we really want to go down the coaching was like Tom Coughlin. I like him, but before he joined the Giants, he was like 68-60 on the Jaguars. Like, he had a worse record than Jason Garrett and Mike McCarthy. So the Giants situation wasn't ideal, wasn't great, wasn't elite, was one of the worst situations. And we're seeing now how bad they are after the Eli Manning years. So with the fact that he dealt with all that and still won 2 Super Bowls, like that's just, it doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense.
Look, while I agree with you that it doesn't make sense, it should also be mentioned that Eli Manning took every top deal that was offered. It should be mentioned that he took it because that does matter. That does matter. That does. Obviously, he did not have the
quarterbacks took top deals
hold on,
and
Riddell,
had better teams.
Riddell, look,
you keep bringing it up. So I'm just rebuttaling.
It does matter, right? But also at the same time, with that, his regular season resume at best is mid. He was literally 500 as a quarterback. Led the league in picks multiple times as the passing offense got better, and also as high as his playoff highs were, he was also generationally bad. He really was.
How many 500 quarterbacks are in the Hall of Fame? Only Joe Namath? Is he?
I mean, you got to go back, but I think the further back you get, the more of those you see. But when you're looking at this one, especially since he's in
the modern era, let's say like 80s and after, relative.
Jalen, look, even during Eli Manning's tenure, he's in the best
80s and after. I don't think there's
anybody. Right?
I don't think there's anybody. Yeah. Phillip Rivers was at least 20 games above 500. Big Ben was above 500.
But a lot of these guys, were in better situations, or they would go to go to a better situation. Eli always stayed in.
But the Hall of Fame, they don't give tax because of situations like that. They don't say, oh, he was on a bad team, so he's gonna get in this. He's gonna get in the Hall.
But I'm not talking about the Hall of Fame. I'm just talking about his situation because we already know he's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, but I'm saying at the end of the day, the results are the results.
That doesn't cause you. That doesn't.
That's what I'm talking about. He's underappreciated being in a bad situation and succeeding. It's like it's underappreciated.
That doesn't cause you to lead the league in picks as many times as you did. And I understand you want to say Drew Brees had one less interception than him. Drew Brees literally played 50 more games. He threw 250 more touchdowns. He's better, like you've admitted. I just think that even his playoff resume is not as pristine as you want it to be because, God, those lows are really bad.
Random is chatting about the playoff stuff, but we can.
How am I chatting? You can literally look it up on Football Reference. 113 yards and 3 picks is not good at all. It's
objective Brady fan.
How is it objective?
I'm talking to Lonnie. You're not the objective Brady fan. I'm talking to Lonnie.
No.
Objective Brady fan. Is the point that Random keeps on making with these 2 games is a good point. I need a second opinion after me and Trent said this.
113 yards and 3 picks, 169 yards.
He keeps bringing it up. Now he's trying to undervalue Eli Manning.
I'm not. I'm literally not. But
the lows are bad, but Eli's high.
The lows are bad, but he had, like I said, he has the outlier of being the only QB to ever beat an unbeaten team.
But those should be mentioned also.
Yeah, no, I agree. Random. They both should be mentioned. But beating an unbeaten team clearly outweighs a playoff game with
Lonnie. Those are 60 stats that he put up. Those are 60 stats that he put
I don't disagree, but I'm saying, does that outweigh beating the unbeatable
I'm not saying
team?
It outweighs, but dear God.
Well, then there you go. Like when you
I'm not saying it outweighs, but there's definitely dirt.
The case has to be like negatives plus positives plus negatives equal what? So if one of the main negatives is the playoff game, but one of the main positives is beating an unbeatable team, what it equals, it's still Hall of Fame. If that's what the case is. So if the case is 2 bad playoff games that you're pointing out compared to beating,
they're terrible, they're horrible, they're horrific.
All right, 2 horrible playoff games versus doing something that no QB has ever done before. Because you can't say that about the bad playoff games. So we've seen people play even worse than that. We have.
So Eli's highs are like
so the highs are bigger than the lows. That's just objective. Unfortunately, as much as I hate Eli, as much as I hate him, I'm on Kendrick time with Eli. I'm on Kendrick time. But I'm sorry, beating a team that's 16-0 is way more positive than the negative of putting up 133 and 3 picks.
Shout out that defense and 3 picks.
Look, I understand that Riddell thinks I'm completely non-objective. I'm just looking at what Eli Manning produced. That is what he did.
Yeah,
I'm not
based
lying.
off of that, and based off of narrative, and based off of his name, he's getting in.
Mentioned that his best team ever, his best team that he ever had, that he was the number 1 seed in the NFC, after beating the 17-0 Patriots. It should be mentioned that the next year he legitimately choked the fuck out of it, and in his best season individually, he couldn't help his team.
Lonnie, you see what
even with the first,
random. I'll tell you this. I have a question. If the 2 Super Bowl wins he rings, if say like the 2 Super Bowls they were against just regular top 5 QBs, like let's say instead of Tom Brady he beats like Russ and Big Ben, does he still make the Hall of Fame?
I don't think so.
If he beats a Super Bowl, if he wins a Super Bowl, but he doesn't beat the unbeatable team, does he still get in?
I don't think so.
And some points I would agree, but but unfortunately, the fact is he did it. That's an unfortunate fact. He did it.
The Super Bowl rings cannot wipe away everything. They really cannot.
They don't wipe away everything, but they get them over the hump. That's the point.
I don't.
Some rings do mean more. Some rings do mean more. Beating.
I understand that some rings do mean more, but I don't think he.
And he has one of the most important rings of all time. Unfortunately, he does.
I agree. Look, Lonnie, I completely agree with you.
I think when they bring up Eli Manning having a great season or great 500-yard game, 3+ touchdown games, and go like, well, we could bring this up, talk about the regular season. Like, what are we doing? Like,
do I think that he deserves to be in?
I'm just looking at his total body of work.
Or do I think he'll get in? Yeah,
I don't think
just
so.
Based off a resume.
I don't think so. He's not a first ballot. He's going to wait a while. Obviously, we've said what we want to say, but you know what? Let's close it out. And also to the chat, do you believe that Eli Manning is a Hall of Famer? Obviously, I say yes. Donnie's undecided. Lonnie and Lonnie says eventually he will be. Riddell says he is. I can say this. We can all agree he's not first ballot, right? Because I think if he's first ballot,
yep, he's first ballot.
It's a really bad look for the NFL. It's a really bad look for the Hall of Fame.
It's an exaggeration. It's not.
Yes, it is. It's a really bad look.
It's not.
The reason T.O. is not first ballot is because the voters didn't like him.
T.O. to
no, but that should be mentioned.
Was not first ballot.
T.O. is the other is the opposite outlier.
That should be mentioned. The reason why they made him wait is because they didn't like it.
Let me get this off because
that should be mentioned.
Here's the truth about T.O. Here's the truth that no one wants to ever say about T.O. Because T.O. is my favorite wide receiver of all time. He's just mine. You can say whatever, like other people are better, whatever. T.O. is my favorite receiver of all time. I think his dominance is unprecedented, but his emotions to get in the way of him. Now, a big knock that people don't realize is that when he was on the Seahawks, they cut him because they didn't want him to influence Russ. He was still good for another 4 or 5 years. If he played those 4 or 5 years, guess who's going to be the all-time leading receiver? It's not going to be Jerry Rice. It would be T.O. And he wanted to play for a good 10 years after that, saying every year. I think he was even saying last year how he still wants to damn play. And you see him run like a 4-4 against other NFL stars and stuff like that. Not saying that he should have been playing last year, but I'm just saying he could have played for a good 4 or 5 years after that. The last year he played, he still put up like 900 yards. Now, the fact about T.O. is he was hated, and he did things to garner that hate. He did things to antagonize people. He did things to make people hate him. Unfortunately, that's just the truth. So, and people are petty. The voters have been petty for years. We still see that 49ers running back who talked shit to them still has never made it.
Waters.
Yeah, he's still never made it. And he has the resume to do it. So when it comes to that, that stuff actually makes whether it's right or wrong, T.O. put himself in this situation, even though he could argue being he has the stats to argue being the second or third greatest receiver ever. He has the things that he did prevented him from being first ballot. That's just the fact. Eli, on the other hand, doesn't have the stats necessarily back it up, but he has the aura, he has the cachet, he has the last name to help push that. So, is it fair? No, but the fact of the matter is, he has the 2 Super Bowls. He has one of the most important Super Bowls of all time. He has the last name, and he has the likability of the voters. So there is a good chance. So does he deserve to be first ballot? No, but is there a good chance based off all that and him being in media? Because guess what? He's working with ESPN. That means he's also working with some of the voters. That means he's rubbing elbows, shaking hands with some of the voters.
Such a bad look. But
at the same time, that's reality.
Yeah, over exaggeration.
That's such I'm not over exaggerating.
I'm not hating. I'm just saying.
So I'm
not an Eli hater.
At this point,
I presented everything that he did. Riddell, you can look it up yourself.
Your point was terrible. Joe Montana had a historical bad game too in the playoffs.
But Joe Montana literally cleared up every aspect of Joe Montana's career. He clears Eli. That's what negates your point.
No, that has nothing to do with what I just said.
Yes, it literally does.
Bro.
It literally does.
In
every aspect except for the Super Bowl win, he clears. He clears in every aspect of Joe Montana's career.
Shit. I never said Eli Manning was as good as Joe Montana.
I'm just
saying. The point is you are picking and choosing to discredit Eli's playoff resume. But you won't do that.
I'm not discrediting it. I'm also adding context to it.
No, you won't add the context.
I have added the context.
You've never said anything about Joe Montana's playoff resume ever.
Because his playoff resume is pristine.
He had a terrible playoff game.
Whose playoff resume is better, Riddell? Eli's or Joe Montana's?
Oh my god, yo.
Whose playoff resume is better?
You got it random, bro.
Whose playoff resume is better, Eli's or Joe Montana's?
I think Randall's being difficult.
Donnie, whose playoff resume is better, Eli or Joe Montana's?
That's a mute point. That's like a mute question.
Lonnie, you be my mediator because this is not working. This everything.
You keep trying to force it to one thing. Eli has the greatest win, but Joe Montana has the greatest resume.
I got a text, so I got distracted. Why are we comparing Eli to
He's the one that brought up Joe Montana like it matters. Joe Montana's a better resume.
Ronnie, you be my mediator because you got that Patriots connection, so maybe you can get through to Random.
Oh my god!
The reason what I brought up is Joe Montana had a historically bad playoff game.
Okay.
I never hear Random question Joe Montana's playoff resume, despite having an historically bad playoff game. But when it came to Eli, he's more than willing to add the context.
Well,
that is the point I'm making.
Is it fair to think that because he's a Patriots fan and because it's Eli Manning, he's definitely going to harp more on Eli than Joe Montana?
Fair. I think it's very fair.
Because I'm sorry, I'm as objective as I am. I know Eli's not a bad dude. I still hate the motherfucker. I hate him with passion. Donnie, I can't tell you because you're a Cardinals fan, and so unfortunately, no shade, you'll never experience this. But like when we were 16-0. By like week 10, you couldn't tell me shit. You couldn't tell my family shit. We felt like gods. Week 11, gods. 12, 14, 15. Yo, we were on cloud 9. And so like to us, it was inevitable. To us, it was just another game. And then he crushed our dreams. I legit, as much as I love football, Donnie, I did not want to watch the NFL the next season. I did not want to watch football anymore after that loss. That shit broke me. That shit broke me in ways I will never. That's like I said. I think I said this last week. Eli is basically the guy that took your girl, and you hate him that he took your girl, and then like you find out, oh, he's a better guy than I am. Oh, he's better for her than me. That shit hurts. That shit hurts. You can't fix that, Randall. You can't fix that pain. So I'll never like Eli, but at the same time, I realize Eli's not all that bad. Do I think he'll get in the Hall of Fame? Yes, but I still hate that motherfucker. And any chance to objectively shit on him, I will shit on him until I die. My kids will hate Eli Manning because it just has to be that way. It just has to be that way.
Look, Eli Manning even respect the fans. Remember that memorabilia scandal? Let me stop. Let me stop. That's crazy.
Hating-
but look,
hating the heart, bro.
I'm not hating. Everything I brought up is something that Eli did.
But
And
hate aside,
to be
he's
fair,
in the Hall of Fame
Riddell is
based on
right.
everything I
Joe
said.
Montana had 2 disastrous playoff games. Throwing 8 for 15 for 98 yards and 2 interceptions is crazy. Even though he was knocked out the game, I'm sorry. Your boy was not cutting the mustard. Okay, he was not. That should be mentioned. But I think the fact that he was even when he went to Kansas City, he was great. Should overlook that. Just like how Eli's playoff runs overlook his lows, Joe Montana's playoff runs with 2 different teams overlook Montana's lows. But you know what? We've talked enough.
Well, it's also the the 89 run that
The 89 run is
you could argue
11
is the greatest playoff run,
the
probably
greatest
in
playoff
NFL
run of all
history.
time.
Yeah, you could argue that.
I don't know. He deserves respect for that. I'll put. Hey, last thing.
Josh Allen, 2021. Don't worry, man. I got your back. Don't worry.
I'm gonna. So I got to kind of go into one point I made.
Oh yeah,
earlier.
line
So I'm gonna, I'm
That's
gonna
my
name
bad.
I'm gonna name quarterbacks that were drafted number 1 overall, and you just let me know who you think was a better pick based on what they did on their respective teams. So obviously it's Eli Manning versus a lot of these people. We're here to push agendas. So the year after Eli Manning was Alex Smith.
He was also hoed, but
Remember
wasn't good
when
in
I
the
remember? Do you guys ever watch that YouTube video on like how no one else in that draft really needed a quarterback, so it was like Alex Smith versus Rodgers?
Why didn't they just say no?
Can
It's
you
okay.
imagine?
If
Can
you don't need,
can
they should
you
just taken
imagine-
Rodgers and figured it
Can you
out. Right,
imagine
Donnie?
if the Niners took Rodgers?
Oh, that would be beautiful to see.
Aaron Rodgers
Oh,
might be the greatest
man.
quarterback of all time.
Oh man,
Maybe
that
unless
would
he
be
unless he chokes against a different team, but it's all
Maybe
good.
he just chokes
All right.
against the Packers. Like
Does Colin Kaepernick
Hurts.
ever?
He will still lose to the Giants because the Giants beat the Packers and the 49ers. So he still lose to us.
Oh,
Alex Smith was weak.
Does Colin
Hey,
Kaepernick
hey.
ever start then on any team?
Alex
No,
Smith?
he's not starting over Aaron Rodgers.
He's
Yeah,
on the
he's not.
Packers.
He's
He
on
probably
the
just takes. They probably keep Brett Favre longer. You think, Donnie?
You think if they hold on, you think okay, now that's a crazy okay, we are so off topic. But dude, Rodgers goes to the Niners, Jordan Love is never a Packer because they don't repeat what they did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
True.
I'm just saying.
A lot. Hey,
Jordan Love is
the
a
domino
Patriot.
effect. The
I'm
domino
surprised.
effect.
Jordan Love is a
Um,
Patriot in this alternate universe, and I'm happy.
Next team, next guy. So Eli Manning or Matthew Stafford getting drafted by the Lions.
The Lions at that point were generationally awful.
Yeah, we're talking about like the worst
They just went 0
franchise at that
16.
point of all time.
Oh yeah.
They just
Getting
went 0
drafted number
16.
1 overall means you're getting drafted to a terrible.
They just went 0 16. Riddell. They were horrendous.
But again, like he was drafted number 1 overall, but then he got traded to a different team.
Yeah, he wanted to leave. So I'm talking about.
He should have stayed with the Chargers. Eli should have stayed with the Chargers.
I'm not.
He should have.
I don't disagree.
He could have played with
I
LT, Riddell. He could have played with LT.
And Antonio Gates and Kellen Winslow Jr. and Vincent Jackson.
God,
I think
he could have played with a young
Yeah,
Keenan
he would have
Allen.
eventually
He would have
gotten
been taken
Keenan Allen,
care of
too.
in San
Darren
Diego.
Sproles.
Yeah, I think he would have been
Austin
amazing.
Eckler, let me stop.
Yeah, I think
Keenan Allen.
He would have been amazing with the Chargers. Like Giants.
They
fans
would have
need to
taken care of
recognize
him.
that.
if
What
he
you're
stayed in
telling
San
me
Diego.
is that Eli Manning would have been the GOAT because he would have played with Austin Eckler. That's basically what you're telling me.
Maybe, yeah. He played with Ahmad Bradshaw.
What
Coach.
an ultimate.
What's
I
the
mean,
difference?
dude, those two in the same backfield. Come on.
I think LT.
Okay,
Just the
hold
fact
on,
that
I
he could
got,
have
I
played
got
with
more
LT.
names. I got more names. I want to speed run through.
Yeah. I'll say
He would have played with
Eli over
LT
Buffalo.
in 2006. He would have played with LT in 2006. Maybe the greatest running back season of all time.
No. The Charger situation was not as bad as people make it seem. It's better than the Giants situation. I'm not gonna lie.
He been
Eli
bad as
Manning
is.
or Sam Bradford.
Okay.
Sam Bradford was cooked. The minute he pulled out those goddamn Pee Wee fucking Warner sleeves, he was cooked.
Riddell, lock in. We need to skip that one. Just let's go.
All right, Eli Manning or Cam Newton. What Cam did with the Panthers versus Eli, what he did with the Giants.
I still think that Cam wasn't supported as best as he could have been.
You know what? I feel like I have to say Cam because I already have so many.
I feel like there's
I already
like
have
something
so
in my
many
gut
Cam
that has
Newton
to say Cam.
allegations on me. So I'll just say
No,
Cam.
that's valid. But it's a trend. Like these teams that are this bad for some reason, these teams.
Yeah, but then they
struggle
shipped
with
off.
putting a
They
good team.
shipped off Steve Smith. They shipped off Greg Golson, and he was just by himself at the end with Christian McCaffrey. My bad.
With an
with
elite
Christian
defense.
Yeah,
With an elite
with
defense.
respect Christian McCaffrey.
Kuechly retired. It was legitimately him and Christian McCaffrey just trying to figure it out.
Oh yeah, that terrible situation. So now you kind of feeling what I'm feeling when I'm talking
I
about.
think those are worse situations than what he had, though.
Yeah, but
Bro,
you're putting them in the same
situations when it's still
Giants
not.
were in there's a reason why Saquon Barkley was picked at number 2. Like the Giants had terrible situations.
They picked when did they pick Christian McCaffrey, Donnie? What pick did they pick him in?
Like 7, I think.
I mean,
I can look
Riddell,
it up.
I'm just saying.
I'm not arguing.
I thought he was like a double-digit pick. I thought he was like 12 for a
No, I know he went top 10. He went 8. Okay, he went 8.
Yeah, the only point I'm making is.
Oh yeah, John Ross went 7. That's right.
Disgusting.
Yeah,
that's right.
Eli Manning or Andrew Luck. What Andrew Luck did with the Colts versus Eli Manning.
Okay,
Andrew Luck did a few jobs, bro.
Riddell, if you're
but he
asking
did retire early.
If you're
yeah, because his GM wanted to kill him.
Hold on, Riddell. Are we doing a who would I rather have or who is like better? Because I'm taking Luck. But
I'm taking Luck every day
what
of the
they
week.
did on their teams, because I agree Andrew Luck is better than Eli. But
yeah, I'm taking Luck as a player, but like who did better on their specific team?
Don't forget, Luck also came back from like 24 down against the Chiefs, ironically.
You have to say Eli for that, but like if I could choose one to start a franchise with from the very beginning, I'm taking.
I think the fact that the GM
I think
refused,
Andrew Luck, if he had a longer career,
there's not. You know what? This may be a hot take, but there is if there was a 32, like let's say redraft the whole league, you could choose any quarterback of all time. If I'm in the late 20s, mid 20s, and Andrew Luck's there, I'm gonna consider it. That's all I'm gonna say.
I am laughing.
I'm gonna consider
the bank,
it.
Donnie, I'm laughing to the bank that I got Andrew Luck in the 20s.
I'm not mad at it. I'm not.
I thought he was going to end up being top 10 all time.
The more because the reason I bring this up, the reason I bring this up is because I was just watching Andrew Luck, a week ago when I got off work. Sat down, watched 6 hours of Andrew Luck because I'm a psychopath, and I was like, dude, I miss this guy. I miss this guy so much.
Donnie, you should be saying who's the better quarterback, Andrew Luck or Patrick Mahomes. We were robbed of that because Ryan Grigson
would still be top 5 right now.
Goddamn name,
yeah,
Ryan.
He would be.
Because
he would be in the Josh Allen,
to take
Joe
care
Burrow,
of your ultimate asset
conversation.
and Jim Irsay. You let him do that. You let him ruin your potential Hall of Fame quarterback. And then obviously the season after Andrew Luck leaves, you goddamn draft a line and go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself.
All right, I'm gonna speed run the last ones. So the last guys would be Jameis Winston, Jared Goff, Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, Joe Burrow. Maybe depending on injuries, could have a better career on his team. Trevor Lawrence, Bryce Young, Caleb Williams, and if we go back before Eli, it was David Carr, Michael Vick, Tim Couch, Peyton Manning, Drew Bledsoe, Jeff George. If I'm being objective, I feel like Eli would probably be the best number 1 overall quarterback pick since Troy Aikman.
Well, with David Carr, we have to acknowledge the fact that he was drafted.
Peyton?
What Peyton did with the Colts versus what Eli did with the Giants.
What do you think about that, Donnie? Let him think. But let me say this: we should acknowledge that David Carr was drafted by an expansion team. They legitimately just did not have the talent.
I'll give it to Peyton. And then I'll say he's the second best first overall pick.
Dell, you almost made me just.
I'll give it to Peyton because, yeah.
Should we not mention that for David Carr?
You know what? I mean, listen, I understand you value playoffs and whatnot, but to me, 2004 Peyton Manning's the best season of all time. So
you're not the first person to say that, Donnie.
I was one of the first people to say that, and so many people got mad at me. And then they watched him, and then they saw the advanced stats, and they're like, "Oh, maybe you're right." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know."
Riddell, should we not mention? I'm gonna say it for a third time. Should we not mention the fact that David Carr was drafted to an expansion team that never had the talent when he was there?
Oh, I agree, but I'm just telling you that in terms of
that's generationally awful situation.
Yeah, not everyone can be
David Carr might have had the worst situation out of everybody I mentioned. I agree.
Not everybody can be the Baltimore Ravens, unfortunately.
Drew Bledsoe did lead his team to a Super Bowl, but they lost to the Packers, and then obviously he ended up losing his job to Tom Brady.
Yep. Eli Manning's him, and then Peyton Manning.
The way Nick Wright talks about Nick Wright said that he kind of thinks the Bears could win the Super Bowl.
Well, Nick Wright also loves Caleb Williams more than anyone not named Mahomes, so that's why.
What if Nick Wright's right and Caleb beats
He's
Mahomes
not.
in the Super Bowl?
He's not.
No. Let's just say, Donnie. Let's just go down this hypothetical. What do we say about Caleb Williams?
He might end up being the future GOAT. That's what people are going to say.
If he beats Mahomes in a Super Bowl and as a rookie,
I have it right. You know what? It's funny. It's right there on my laptop. I have hundreds of comments saved of people slandering him. And when he becomes good, I'm going to post them all.
Donnie, we on the same page. Me, you, and Riddell on the same page. I think he can make the playoffs this year.
I don't think so.
Could.
I
just don't like putting expectations on rookie quarterbacks.
That's where I'm at, Lonnie. That's where I've always been at. That's a lot to ask.
But this situation,
they were borderline.
It is.
This situation is too
great.
good. Like
Donnie,
David
logic,
Carr had the worst situation of all time. Caleb Williams arguably might have the best situation that we've ever seen from a person.
Donnie, here's my logic on why they should make the playoffs. Because if Justin Fields plays, well, they're already even just objectively they were almost a playoff team last year.
Mm-hmm.
This year they have an even easier schedule than last year.
Yeah.
This year, not only forget about Caleb Williams, they improved their receiving core. Their offensive line got more depth. And they got more running back depth as well. On top of their young defensive pieces gaining an extra year of experience. So objectively, they were a borderline team last year with bottom 5 QB play last year. And they still almost made the playoffs. And they improved in multiple different aspects on their roster this year. So based off of that fact alone, even if they had still a bottom 5 QB, I would still say they should be in contention for a playoff spot.
The problem is he's a rookie.
But I'm not done, Random. I'm not done.
I'm not
done. So now,
real quick. I just want to say this just real quick while you were talking. I was listening. I just sped run through the Bears schedule, and without really thinking much about it, I had them at 10-7. So
crazy enough, I had them 11-6. I also had
I had them at 11-6.
I had the Packers and the Lions both at 11-6 as well.
I think they barely.
Well, my take is I think the Lions win. Not win.
So I'm just saying from a logic standpoint, it doesn't make sense if they were a borderline playoff team last year with bottom 5 QB play, and they improved their roster on multiple different aspects, and then got a generationally talented QB that they can't win a few more games than they did last year when they improved their roster on multiple different aspects with an easier schedule. So like every box,
it's easier schedule. You're talking about a guy who's never played professional football before. It's banning the shit.
Multiple things, Random. Easier schedule, better roster.
It doesn't matter if it's easier. You're talking about a guy who's never done it before.
That, by definition, you should be better.
It doesn't, Lonnie.
Random.
Because even if he's a bottom 5 QB, you have a better roster than last year.
You're talking about a rookie quarterback.
But okay, Random. This is the problem with your thinking, and I think I've realized it when it comes to this situation. You're looking at it the fact that they got the number 1 overall pick, but when you think about rookie quarterbacks that, in general, regardless of where they've been picked, going to a good situation, a lot of them that go to good situation actually do play well. Like that. That is the difference in this conversation. It'll be one thing if it's Drake May or if it's Jaden Daniels, but Caleb Williams is in a great situation. We've seen rookie quarterbacks,
but to think
like
that they're going to
play well,
one is crazy.
Stroud play well, Anthony Richardson
almost made it
well
last year.
Justin Herbert play well.
They didn't though. They were 7-10 or whatever they were.
And their starting QB missed 3 games, and they barely missed it.
Lonnie, I agree with you, but when you're talking about a guy who's never done it before, no matter how prestigious his talent is,
he can still be a bottom 5 QB. I still expect them to win 2 more games.
And they're okay. So they're 9-8. Lonnie,
no, what were they last year?
I picked them to be 9-8. That's what I picked the Bears to be, is 9-8.
So you expect them with
Random, excluding the quarterback, where do you rank the Bears roster in the NFL?
I think the Bears roster is one of the best, but when the guy running
where? Give me a spot.
I think it's one of the best in the NFL.
I'd say top 10. They have a top 10 roster. Is that a good place
That's
for
fine.
you?
I'll agree with that. But the problem is when the guy
So
who's
they have a
winning
top 10 roster.
just because you have a top 10 roster doesn't mean you're going to make the playoffs.
Name me a team with a top 10 roster that doesn't make the playoffs.
Name me a team with a top 10 roster that has a rookie quarterback leading them.
I named 11.
Brock Purdy when he came in,
I looked at
quarterback and he helped them win. He was like 4-1 when he was winning with the 49ers.
Yeah.
CJ Stroud.
CJ Stroud literally had the greatest rookie season of all time.
Justin Herbert played extremely well in his rookie
year.
But
he didn't make the playoffs. He didn't make the playoffs.
But his roster
and with how well he played, he didn't make the playoffs.
His roster wasn't as good. That's the point I made.
Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson's first year, he was splitting time with Joe Flacco.
But you're so hung up on the rookie stuff, but if you just think football, if you just
can replace Caleb Williams with Jameis Winston, they should still make the playoffs this year.
Jameis Winston?
You can replace him with, you can replace Caleb Williams with Mac Jones with Keenan Allen.
Mac Jones?
Mac Jones? I apologize for my outburst. I apologize for my outburst. I apologize for my outburst.
He apologized.
I apologize.
The guy
what's a bottom 5 starting QB this year?
Russell Wilson, Derek Carr.
Yeah, you put Russell Wilson on this Bears team, they're making the playoffs.
I disagree with that. I disagree with that. I disagree.
They don't make it with Russell.
I think they make it with Russell
They
Wilson.
don't make it with Derek Carr.
I think you guys are overestimating how good this roster is.
Oh, I think this roster is really good.
I think this roster is good, except it lacks 2 things, and it's probably the most 2 important things outside of the quarterback.
Pass rush.
It's their front 4. And mainly their front 4, besides Montez, because obviously Montez is going to he's going to do his thing. But like besides that,
you can say left tackle.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. And then the O line. Listen,
it's getting better.
There were totally worse offensive lines, but there were also totally better offensive lines.
I agree.
Oh yeah, they're an average offensive.
This is like the 20th to like 17th, 16th best of like just so.
I don't expect Caleb to have the greatest season of all time, but in this situation, do I expect him to have a top 10 QB rookie season of all time? Yeah.
I think that's unfair.
Well, I'm also
how is that unfair? This is the greatest rookie QB situation of all time. So asking for a top 10 performance is not crazy.
Lonnie,
he's the
game. What if he makes a rookie mistake to lose the game? Are we penalizing him for that?
No,
because he's a rookie.
No, rookies can make mistakes, but I'm saying if you're in the greatest rookie situation of all time, and you're considered one of the greatest talents of all time, saying that you should have a top 10 QB rookie season of all time isn't crazy. It's not crazy.
No, I think
next year, Lonnie, if you're having this discussion next year, I would agree with
rookie
you.
season.
Lonnie, I agree with that because even though I mentioned the O line is a question mark and the front 4, and I have questions about the OC. He should have a top 10, at least rookie quarterback season of all time. Because this is by far the best set of weapons a number 1 pick has ever walked into. By far. And it's not
only.
Yeah, so asking for top, I'm not saying he needs to be better than CJ or Herbert. I'm saying
his
saying top 10, that's not crazy.
Receiver is Rome Odunze.
And his 4th receiving option.
Who, in my opinion, was a top 10 player in the draft and would be wide receiver 1 in. Hell, we'd be wide receiver 1 in this year's draft and the year before last year's draft.
And he's their third option.
And he's their third option.
Lonnie, but this is where I'm at though. He's still a rookie. He's still learning how to do this. And here, I think the fact that I've heard Trent says he should make the playoffs, and I think that's crazy.
I don't think they should.
Should they be in playoff contention at some point, Lonnie? I agree with you. But to penalize him because he doesn't make the playoffs, or that like next year, I'm all in. I'm like, yo, you had the season. Let's go.
That's what I'll say.
But this year, his first season, doing anything, no matter how prestigious you are, your first time doing anything.
So he can suck all year and you're fine with it.
That's tough.
So this year's a throwaway year for you.
For the Bears, no.
I'm not saying throw.
Well, this is. I mean, this year.
I'm saying random because he's saying like, oh, he doesn't have to play well. Basically, is what you're saying.
I think this year is like, let's see what we're working with.
Let's see what we're working with.
Let's see how good. Like, let's win like 8 games, maybe 9, maybe 10. Let's get in that range.
I'm
Let's
like
see
9
how
games.
good we are. Let's
If
see
he
if the
doesn't win 9
defense
games,
can also
I feel
retain what it
horrible
was.
about the Bears.
Because the first half of the year, that defense was pretty bad. And then the second half of the year, it was good.
So you feel horrible if he doesn't win one.
You look at some of those offenses they played, and it gets a little sketchy. They had a great game against Detroit. I will totally give them that. But besides that, pretty sketchy. And then obviously, Jordan Love did his thing in Week 18. But I just want to see, will the defense do what it did last year? And it totally has the talent. It's got.
But Random, you said you'd be upset if he doesn't get 9.
Yeah,
I'm just saying 11. That's 2 more. That's 2 more.
If you're saying 11, he's in the playoffs.
Okay.
I don't think so. I don't think he's going to win 11 games.
But it doesn't make sense. Like, you're so stuck up on the rookie thing, but you think the Bears roster.
Yeah, but
so
none of the other stuff is important. Like
it's
all
like
the other
49. If you look at the 49ers, when how good we know they are, and we put in a rookie quarterback, your expectation is still that they should be at least the second best team in the NFC.
Well, also we can add with the 49ers.
But am I wrong? Like,
no, but let's add.
Well, but
I'm not saying you're wrong, Liddell, but we got to add the fact that Kyle Shanahan has done wonders with terrible quarterbacks. So give him a good one.
Oh, you don't care about the rookie situation on the 49ers.
But
you don't. You
Kyle
think
Shanahan is a markedly better coach than Matt Eberflus. Now, let me say this: if Matt Eberflus was not the coach, let's just say they got even the Bucs offensive coordinator or somebody who's more offensively oriented,
offensive coordinator,
I would feel a lot better than Matt Eberflus being the head coach.
They got an offensive coordinator from the Seahawks, the one that was coaching up with Geno Smith when Geno Smith had his breakout. That's who they brought in to call offensive plays.
The fact that Matt Eberflus is still at the helm really gives me cause. That's my biggest detriment.
Thank you, Domination. That's what I'm saying.
But he coached good defenses, and a lot of the games that they were losing was like close games of Justin Fields just selling.
He was making bad coaching decisions.
Their quarterback was just playing bad.
I would feel so much better because this is one thing when we were having this conversation on Press Box. I said, if you're gonna draft Caleb, Donnie, get rid of Eberflus. Go fully clean slate. That's what I kept saying. But they decided to keep him.
The reason they didn't was because of how well the defense played in the second half. Because he is a defense, and I'm not a big fan of it either. But you got to give props where props are deserved.
I guess, but
their defense, he's in command of it, and it was top 3 in the league in the second half of the season. Although it is a little questionable why it was, and against the opponents, he can say, "Hey, I locked down the Lions' offense." That's a damn good offense.
When it comes to the recipes of success for a team, we think of schedule, we think of roster, we think of QB play. And in terms of 2 out of the 3, they've massively improved on. They have a much easier schedule and they have a much better roster. But also they have a better QB, or they should have a better QB. So saying let's adding 2 more games from last year based off of that recipe of success of what comes to success in the NFL, improved roster, easier schedule. Those 2 alone should result in more wins.
And I agree with you.
A better roster and easier schedule should result in more wins.
I agree with you, Lonnie, and I have them winning 2 more wins than they had last year. It still should be mentioned that their division alone, you could argue, is maybe the toughest division in football, with the Lions and the Packers in them. And he's clearly, I think right now, he's the 3rd quarterback in that division. Right, the Vikings cannot be slept on because of some of the moves that they've done. The fact that they secured Jettas. I'm not saying that. I think, Donnie, that they're going to lose 2 games to one of those 2 teams, whether it's the Lions or the Packers. That's what I think, right? And also the fact that, let's just say this, even if everything works out, are they better than the 49ers? No, they're not. Are they better than the Eagles? No, they're not. Are they better than the Lions? No, they're not. Are they better than the Packers? No, they're not.
Arguable.
I don't think they're better than any of those 4 teams.
I think Packers are arguable.
Whether it's Aaron Rodgers or Jordan Love, the Packers always beat the Bears.
You can't tell me the Lions is arguable. No way.
I'm not saying the Lions. The Packers.
I don't think people understand how good the Lions.
That's not answering my question, Random. What do the Packers?
If I was a betting man, I would say no. But I have
the Packers have a better coach.
I have a feeling
they have a better quarterback.
Okay,
they're gonna fall.
I don't think so.
Okay, so better coach, better quarterback, whatever.
I want to say this real quick about Green Bay. Green Bay is an interesting team just because, and I want you guys to tell me. Name me one glaring, and I mean glaring weakness on that roster.
I can't see
can't. However, you could also say outside of corner, name me a true strength. Like we are top 3 in the league at this position, and I think the answer is
top 3 is tough, but I think
their
Jordan Love could be
linebacking core is pretty mediocre.
I think Jordan Love could be
Brandon, you still never answered the question. So besides QB and coach, what do they have that's better than the Bears?
Defense. I mean,
you're talking about Packers?
I think the O-line's better.
Their O-line's better.
Yeah, their O-line's better. I think their run game.
They're in the same tier.
I do not agree at all. I think the Packers O-line is better.
They just lost their
the Packers front seven.
But the Packers always draft the one thing you can always tell about the Packers is that they handle their draft process very well. They always do that.
Who's their starting left tackle, Random?
It doesn't matter. I'm gonna trust the Packers to figure it out.
The starting left is it?
How does that make them better than the Bears?
Deion Jenkins.
The offensive lines are relative. They're like both mid.
Are you telling me that you expect the Bears to be better than the Packers, Lonnie?
No, I'm asking, what do they have better than the Bears? You said offensive line because you feel that they're gonna figure it out. That makes no sense to me.
I also think the fact that it's unquestioned. Quarterback play, I think quarterback play will be better.
Jordan Morgan's gonna play.
Yeah, I agree. Quarterback
and coach is not even close.
Their line is better because you just
it's not even close.
Their drafting process that doesn't make any sense.
Coach is not even close. It's not.
I agree, but you can't say O line is better because of their drafting process. That doesn't make any sense.
But they've always drafted well. The Packers are the only team to keep.
That doesn't automatically mean that they have a better roster. That doesn't mean that does.
We're looking at their history, Lonnie. We're looking at their history.
Yeah, and they just lost one of the best left tackles of the last decade.
Lonnie, they lost.
He also hasn't really played much.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like they had to replace him. So I'm saying,
Lonnie, we also saw in our lifetime, we saw them lose a Hall of Fame quarterback and get another one, and then lose that guy and find a replacement for their second Hall of Fame quarterback.
What does that have to do with their O-line?
The fact that the Packers have consistently found a way to lose Hall of Fame quarterbacks and lose Hall of Fame players.
What does that have to do with Rodell? Can you tell me what that has to do with their O-line?
It doesn't have anything to do with their O-line. It has something to do with the fact that they've lost great talent and found a way to supplement that.
And I asked you who's replacing their left tackle.
I can't answer that, but based on what the Packers have done historically, how can I say that's a disadvantage for them when they found a way to replace 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks? One of them is top 5, and they found a way to replace them.
Hold on. No name left tackle that ran better than the Bears left tackle.
I don't know what we're talking about.
Rasheed Walker is whatever. It could be Jordan. I don't trust Jordan Morgan playing left tackle right away. I'm just gonna
until I see them
they
have
both
a bad
have
left tackle
mediocre
situation, Lonnie,
lines.
I'm gonna trust the Packers. I'm gonna always.
I like the Packers.
That's illogical, but okay.
I mean, if we really break it down,
because they're using an unknown, saying that is better than a known. That doesn't make any sense.
When Brett Favre left, was Aaron Rodgers unknown? Yes, he was, but they found a way.
Okay, that's not a good point. But if we really because
it's not a good point because I asked who's their left tackle. You said
we're just talking about
it doesn't matter. That doesn't make any sense.
We're talking about their team right now, so I don't know
about their team right now.
I think the Packers are still a better team.
Packers team isn't better than the Bears. I disagree. I think it probably is.
Let's talk about their teams, right? Let's really talk about it. Okay, so obviously quarterback Jordan Love is better. He's a better quarterback.
Their coach clears. Absolutely clears.
Okay, so they got a better
receivers.
Head coach.
The Bears have a better receiving core. If you want to say O-line is relative, I agree.
Receivers, tight end. Cole Kmet's better. No,
Cole Kmet's better.
So they have a better tight end. Offensive line is relative. Running game, I would probably say relative, to be honest. The Bears like to use a kind of 2 set. The Packers are going to use Josh Jacobs and AJ Dillon. AJ Dillon's not good.
Josh Jacobs gets a lot of nagging, like little knick-knack.
Josh Jacobs is worse than Aaron Jones, so it's like really
he's worse. But I think the fact that they went to go get Josh Jacobs, Donnie, I think that was a good enough replacement for them.
But the Bears have a good running game.
I like Aaron Jones,
not having like
I do like Aaron. I was shocked that they let him go, Donnie. I was shocked that they let Aaron Jones go.
I'm still a fan of Swift. I think Swift is good. So
So like they have all right talent because they have Swift, Roshan Johnson, and Khalil Herbert.
Like
So they're
I'm not
gonna run like a rotation
with
with
be a 3-down back, but like if you remember last year he was coming back off of like some bad injuries. So like he was still working his way back up.
He'll be
and
good
also
enough.
There are games he just didn't get enough reps. So I think he's more of like a flash kind of person, like a Tony Pollard type role, where you shouldn't just spam him. So like him being in a running back committee, I think he can excel in that.
Yeah, I think they should have kept Deontay Foreman, but and then we talk about the defense, the front four.
I mean, the front
for
four for
Packers.
Green Bay.
The front four for Green Bay is
Not
they
even
still have was it Preston Smith? Let me
Yeah,
look
they
it up.
have Preston. They have
Kenny Clark.
Gary, they
Kenny
have,
Clark's great. Rashawn Gary's
Clark,
great.
White
Van
Davis, Lucas Van
The
Ness.
Packers have a better front four. The Bears have a better linebacking core, and I would say they have the better secondary.
That one's close, but I think the safety gap is what kind of expands.
I agree.
I
I
think Xavier McKinney's arguably a top 5 safety in the league.
I also think the fact that we've never seen the fact that, and this is where now since they're close enough,
They did get McKinney. That was a good pick, actually.
Yeah, I think the fact that they've now that we've seen how close they are, this is where coaching gives the Packers the complete edge because it's not close at all. It's not Matt LaFleur clears Eberflus as a coach. Absolutely does.
I mean, it really depends on like
not you. I agree, but sorry,
it depends on their responsibility in terms of their impact. I agree, LaFleur is better, but if Eberflus is able to replicate the defensive impact and and what they did defensively last year, and then the offensive coordinator from the Seahawks is able to opening up that pass game in particular with Caleb Williams, then I mean I don't think the coaching discrepancy is going to be as big as we think.
Look, look, I think for the first season of Caleb Williams, I think 9 wins. Maybe at one point we're like, man, maybe the Bears could make the playoffs, Donnie. I think that's really big for them. And then next year's the year I'm like, let's go. That's where I'm at. It's next year.
Not good enough for me.
Yeah, I have one last question, then we can wrap up. So I was doing like records and stuff for like the NFC and the AFC. NFC, I have a pretty confident 7 teams I think are going to make the playoffs. AFC was actually extremely difficult.
Hold on.
Who are your NFC picks right away?
NFC because I can name them. I have the 49ers? Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
I have the Lions. I have the Packers, Bears, Rams,
and Dallas.
And the Falcons.
No Dallas.
Yep. No Dallas. I think they're missing the playoffs.
I think they might. I'm not saying they're crashing and burning, but I think they're having a down season as well, Doc.
Yeah. But the one that was difficult for me was the AFC. Because I can honestly see
that's a
lot of potential playoff teams.
Riddell.
So like the guarantee is the Chiefs, right? And after that, there is like a couple of people that you could argue. So we got the Jets and the Bills, the Ravens, the Bengals,
the Browns,
the Bills, the Browns, the Jags, the Texans, and I would say the Chargers. And if you really want to include regular season, Dolphins, because the Dolphins do win the regular.
I wouldn't include Chargers. I think they're really far.
I think they're a year away, Donnie.
But like
that defense, that secondary sucks. I
think that the Chargers are a year away.
But I agree with you.
That secondary sucks.
Well, let's say 9 or 10 potential playoff teams for the last 6 spots. I have no idea who's going to be the last 6 spots. It's actually extremely difficult to determine. For those
one last thing, Riddell, for you, especially since you're a Chiefs guy. Before the season starts, and I've said it, God, our an open field, the best performing short, Donnie, is me going over the Chiefs receiving core. They had a chance to get Tyler Boyd. They said no. They had a chance to get OBJ. They couldn't offer enough money. They had a chance to have who's the guy from the Jags who got cut and he visited
Zay
them.
Jones.
Zay Jones. It was in their building. They didn't offer. I legitimately think if you want a true shot to get this, and I don't want Riddell to say they didn't fucking give them the weapons, because I legitimately think their receiving core this year is worse than last year. That's why they re-signed Mecole Hardman. By the way, I think it's worse than last year.
I think I'll let you explain. Sorry, go ahead.
But if obviously, if they could get T. Higgins, Riddell, I might be with you saying they're going 3-peat. But I don't think the Bengals are going to let that happen.
Oh, for
Who is
sure.
the guy they can get to help them? Rashee Rice, until further notice, with his legal situation, I'm not counting on him. That's just me. I'm not counting on him. Obviously, the Chiefs have had a terrible offseason when you really look at it, and in like every different way. Obviously, Xavier Worthy, he's a rookie, so I'm not going to give him. I'm never going to give rookie like a lot of expectations, right? But then when I'm going to Nico Remigio or Justin Watson or freaking Justin Ross, who always balls out in training camp, but somehow Sky Moore is getting more reps than him when the bullets are actually flying. Why would the Chiefs get Mahomes a goddamn competent receiving weapon?
Well, I think Hollywood is. I think Hollywood is.
You think so? But he's injury prone.
My thing with Hollywood, I think he really showed off that skill set he wasn't really show off in Baltimore, in Arizona, in his first few games. You know, his hands have gotten better. Like, I know, he has a drop problem, but like they legit have gotten much better. He can go up and catch the ball in contested situations, and it's something he clearly has worked on because his hand tracking's a lot better, his eye discipline's a lot better. You can see that clearly from his Baltimore days to what he was in Arizona. Obviously, he doesn't run a full route tree and he's a bit of a smaller guy. So it's interesting because they're gonna have two speedy guys that can burn you over the top, and then I'd imagine they're gonna have Rashee and Travis do this stuff underneath. Because Travis, I don't know, maybe the age will finally kick up, but until further notice, who really knows? But
Still him.
Like that Taylor Swift effect, man. They gave another life.
I think they're kind of like Green Bay a little bit, which someone told me the other day, which I think is interesting. I think they have 3 to 4 guys who can. Okay, we need to hope one of them can show off one day, and 90% of the time that happens because Green Bay has so many solid guys. Maybe not any great guys, but really solid guys that you can count on. Every 4 games or so, and I think the Chiefs have that as well. And that's why I'm a bit high on them. If anything, you want me to be honest, my main worry about the Chiefs is their tackles. But then again, that's been the same for the last 2 years. And
what about their pass rusher who tore his ACL in the playoffs?
The pass rush. It's I don't know. They got Chris. Obviously, Karlaftis is good. I'd say he's
cool.
good. I'd say he's good. Obviously, Felix. I mean, jeez.
Yeah,
I'm completely out on him just because he was a healthy scratch in the Super Bowl. So I agree. The pass rush is definitely a little iffy, and losing Snead hurts a good amount too. But the linebackers,
in a weird way, I wish they found a way to keep him because even with your offensive woes that I see, at least in my opinion, I think having both those corners would mitigate that because. God, they were nasty last year. And Riddell, I know you don't believe me, but I want to see if Mahomes can actually do it. And I don't think the Chiefs are enough to do it.
Here's the reason why they didn't bring
you say that, but they couldn't give Chris Jones the contract he wanted if they kept Snead. That's the big thing. So
there's also another big thing. So sorry, go ahead. My apologies.
No worries. Snead obviously was looking for a big contract, and they have to look to pay other people as well. As for the Chiefs, I mean, I agree to a lot of what Donnie's saying. I don't know about Rashee Rice. I don't know. He might get locked up. Who knows? But I don't know if they're a worse situation because I think there's a lot more reliable guys like Tony, completely unreliable. Sky Moore, I've been saying this for a while. He's not a wide receiver. So, I mean, I'm not expecting anything from him. They know what Justin Watson is. He's a third down guy who's going to run a corner route, and hopefully he's going to be open for a third down.
We've seen him drop his fair share of passes too.
Of course, but in this situation, now they have a reliable deep threat, Hollywood Brown. And then at that point, since they have that now, that's going to alleviate a lot of pressure off of Worthy, who doesn't have to get all the attention. You'd probably do a lot of quick passes, quick screens. Obviously, he's going to run deep. So not a lot of that he's going to do, but he's going to be able to fit into the system. So now they have 2 dynamic playmakers that they can rely upon in their role. Travis Kelce, of course. They got another tight end that's not Noah Gray to actually be a decent receiving threat, Irv Smith. So that's someone. And then they drafted another tight end as well to
Jared
maybe be the
Wiley,
Travis. Yeah, maybe he's going to be the Travis Kelce replacement. So now they have a trio rotation of tight ends that they might be able to rely upon, and including with the receivers that we're talking about. So at the very least, people in their roles fit a lot better than last year when it was just a bunch of guys who didn't fit in their roles and just weren't good. So I would say they're better this year with a better identity for these players. My biggest concern also is the tackles. And then the pass rush will be pretty much the same as last year. Nothing's really changed. Linebacking core, Nick Bolton, hopefully he stays healthy. And hopefully not replacing Snead's not going to bite them in the butt. Maybe they can pick up that man, Stephon Gilmore. He hasn't been picked up yet.
I find it out. There's
like
two guys in free agency, and I wanted it to be talked about on the Wednesday show, but we had to get that. First of all, CJ Stroud's been giving us content for a long time, ironically.
He's been cooking.
But the fact that Justin Simmons and Stephon Gilmore are still on the market when they could legitimately start for teams, for me, is outstanding. I think that some NFL team is dropping the ball and not getting them because I think they could be impact players the minute they step on the field in training camp for somebody. But I will say this. My biggest thing is you are attempting to do something nobody's ever done. You're attempting history, Riddell. And that's where I am so mad at the Chiefs because you are not supporting your quarterback the way you should have. If they got Tyler Boyd or if they got Zay Jones, I'd feel a lot better. If they were doing everything that they could to try and maximize this season, I'd feel a lot better. But they're not. They're falling into this situation that the Patriots fell in. That, yeah, we can just give Mahomes a bunch of crap and he can win Super Bowls with it, but eventually it comes back to bite you. And when you're on the precipice of history, Riddell, you don't want to rely on that. That's my biggest problem with the Chiefs because Riddell, I want to see if he can do it. I want to see if he can legitimately do it, and the Chiefs are not. The Chiefs are goddamn. We've talked about it enough. From Weed to Xavier Worthy's car getting stolen, let alone him throwing ones at his crib. Harrison Butker going crazy at a commencement speech to the point that the NFL had to make a statement. All these things are happening. And I'm like, y'all are trying to be historic and y'all are not doing the best you can to support your quarterback. You're not.
I hear you. But we already seen this man defy history already.
That doesn't mean you keep doing it, bro. That doesn't mean you keep
in the same year.
We've
seen him break the Drake curse.
Riddell, stop doing it. Just because you survived the cliff jump doesn't mean you keep doing it.
Hey man, they're daredevils, and I agree. I think Brett Veach should be cooked way more than he's way more than he's getting praised because I also haven't been liking a lot of the moves recently. But when in doubt, 1-5 is your quarterback. He just defies logic.
You're asking too much of 1-5, Riddell.
And he keeps doing it. I don't know what to tell you, man.
1-5 eventually is gonna break, and that's what I'm worried about. Eventually, one day we're gonna be watching. It's gonna be week 12 of Sunday Night Football, and it's cussing out his receivers because nobody can get open. And Travis Kelce's gone.
I don't disagree, but 1-5, I mean, he's like Saitama. Limitless. Unlimited potential.
Let's hope so, because God damn it. I don't want to see that Raiders game had me feeling some type of way last year. I don't want to see multiple of those. I want to see Mahomes can do it. I want to see because if he three-peats Riddell, we'll pull up here and I'll be the first person to say, Riddell, you got it, man. He's the GOAT.
He's the GOAT.
Absolute GOAT. He couldn't beat Brady when it mattered, but let me stop.
All right.
But he's the GOAT. But anyway, guys, that was episode 11 of Open Field. God, it was a hot episode, Riddell. Like we talked
for you, especially, man.
I just look, obviously, I feel the way I feel, whatever. But we'll see you guys next week. It's the dead period for freaking the NFL right now. We're talking maybe next time we'll talk Jettas and how was it CeeDee Lamb and T. Higgins aren't at mandatory minicamp, so that could be something because the Cowboys got to make a move, man. They got to make a move. So we'll see you guys on Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern. We'll probably change up the times, but thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you guys soon. Bye, guys. Whew, Riddell, man, what a show.
Hey man, I was chilling, but